How to work but never say shit. My niggas outside cracking the matrix.
All right, fellas, we are live. We're live with LaRue's room. LaRue's room. We got our boy MG Glass.
Going
We
on?
got G Rice. And
How y'all doing?
we got a special guest. Special guest. Hey, we got Coach T in the building. Coach T.
Greetings, greetings.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to have you on, man. It was a pleasure to have you
Good to
on.
be here.
So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. We started this show like 30 minutes ago. We've been going crazy, asking them all
Yeah.
types of stuff. So you're gonna see a little bit of everything tonight. Um, but real quick before we kind of get into anything, Coach, give us kind of like what got you into boxing first off. I know you have a long history of boxing. You've been in the sport for quite some time, and since what, the 70s?
Right. I was born in the 70s. I was born in 71, so
Okay.
that'll tell you right there. I'm in my 50s. But what got me into it was a bully. I
Ooh.
had a
Mm.
bully on me. Yeah, he took my bike, similar to Muhammad Ali. I got
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bike taken, and my father he taught me how to throw a punch. And he said, "Hey, when this kid comes back and tries for your bike, you better throw that punch, or you're gonna have to deal with me." I was like,
Yeah.
okay, Dad. You know. So then I threw and this kid was bigger than me, so I threw the punch, knocked him out, and then I said, wait, this type of feeling you get if you ever knock someone out, it's this feeling of ultimate domination that you want
Supernatural.
to, yeah, and you want to rekindle that over and over and over again.
Mm.
So that's what's really started me on the boxing. But then it's funny because I had stopped and then I started competing because my parents didn't want me to do that. Then I
Mm-hmm.
started competing in these little kid tournaments in the late 80s. So that's when I went through a tear one. And I'm from New York, so I was based in New York, Long Island. So yeah, I won a number of
Long
these
Island.
titles in Long Island, New York. Yep. Freeport, Long Island. Born in Hempstead, Method Man.
I
Born in
love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Hempstead.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. And then yeah, so then I racked up a couple of titles and then I went on to college after that. But the titles that I won was all based in New York. New York Golden Gloves, which
Mm-hmm.
was a big one because in the 80s, Golden Gloves was the premier tournament,
For sure.
you know. Yeah, so in the 80s, it kind of fizzled out later, but in the 80s, these tournaments was bringing 60,000 to Madison Square Garden.
Ooh.
60,000. Madison Square Garden will come to see our Golden Gloves championship.
Coach T, you was getting
Yeah.
down like
Jeez.
that?
Yeah, these were big, big, yeah. And my trainer was Mark Breland, who
Oh.
won the Golden Gloves 5 times.
Mm. Mm.
So
Real
that's the
quick.
kind of say again.
Method Man wasn't your bully, was it? You didn't knock him out.
No, 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 no. I think that could. I never met him, but it's funny. He did live in the same area.
Okay.
When I mean the same area, I'm talking like 3 blocks. Three
Oh,
blocks.
okay.
But then I believe he moved after that to um, to Staten Island. But yeah, he was
Okay.
born in Hempstead. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
never my bully.
Sorry for knocking you off, but yeah. So the Golden Gloves. You had Mark Breland as your trainer.
Yeah, later in life he became my trainer, but just to give you he had won that same title that I won 5 times, and
Oh,
that
man.
was like one of the biggest things you could ever do. Actually, he's the only one that did it.
Mm.
That's how
Time.
competitive
Wow.
that was. So I won the Junior Olympics, Kid Gloves, New York Golden Gloves, Empire State titles, and then I think by that time my record was 97-7.
Dang.
And then after that, in 1997-7, and then by 95, I just went to school.
Okay.
I just concentrated on school, and then I dibbled and dabbled in the sport on the training end, and I ran into Layman Brewster, who was the
Mm.
WBO heavyweight champion,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah.
started working with him, and he asked me if I could, assist him to regain the title in 2010. He wanted to make a comeback and
Okay.
fight Vladimir Klitschko a third time. but
Mm.
it never materialized because he had an eye injury. So then that's when I started kind of working with some young kids, and then I finally started getting serious again with the training in the last couple of years. So
Is that
that's
what
what brings it up to
is
now.
that what brought you out to Cali? Was working with Wayman?
No, I actually met my wife here. So then, yeah, I got away from boxing because it was so corrupted and I hated it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna lie to you. I
Still,
hated it. It was just so corruption, so much corruption. But
yeah.
you never do really lose that love, especially when you competed. It's
Hmm.
hard to just really walk away from that.
Right.
So it always
Absolutely.
comes back. Yeah.
Yeah. So 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 is that it was where did you end up going to school?
Howard University,
Oh, okay.
right, right around our
I
famous friend, the, no Diddy, but right around.
No, did.
Yeah. Was you at the or no, that was in New York when you did the party that
Yeah, he had a stampede in 1990.
yeah.
I wasn't at that one,
Okay,
but
okay.
that's when I first heard of him. I first heard of him in 1990. I
So
said,
you were
"Oh, this guy named Sean Coles hosted this party,"
yeah,
and
yep.
there was a big stampede.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach
Uh
Coach T
you at
was
the Howard
there,
Homecoming?
man.
He was at the famous Howard Homecoming.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
Those was
I
heavy.
had to talk about, you know what I mean, what happened.
Well, that was before he did all that.
Yeah.
I think he was just regular partying at that point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
allegedly. That was before the allegedly Andre Harrell stuff.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I think that's when I think it was still a good clean fun when it was Howard Homecoming.
Big facts. I
That's
think Bill
right.
Haney might have been there too, but that's a side note. Um, so
Believe
I want to talk about more of your upbringing, though, man. Parents wise, how was everything growing up, man? Strict. I know New York is a tough place to be in, but I mean, I'm sure you had to kind of fight your way out of situations too.
Yeah, I had Jamaican parents. So I come
Oh,
from that era, yeah. So
makes
both
sense.
my parents were there. My father was pretty strong. He everybody was afraid of him. He was like a weightlifter looking type of guy. And then he
Mm-hmm.
had a deep accent like this. So, that
Yeah.
the but I will say this, one thing about New York, it seemed like everybody can box.
That's what it
The,
sounds like.
they
yes,
they all had
yes.
hands. Everybody had hands. Whether you was
Yeah.
street fighter or a boxer, you all had hands,
Coach
you
T,
know.
Coach T,
So,
I gotta put you on the spot. I think Ohio might get y'all though. I ain't gonna lie.
it is, yeah, I've heard, hey, some of the greatest fighters, under Charles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Aaron Pryor,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Aaron Pryor.
man. Aaron Pryor was
Absolutely.
one of my favorites.
He's like I feel like it's like every single like boxer, anyone that's tapped in always brings up Aaron Pryor.
Absolutely.
And it's like, and it says like your fighter's favorite fighter, like Aaron Pryor is one of their top.
Oh, I have an Aaron Pryor story.
Mm.
Okay.
So, um, now I could remember this. I was a little kid at this time, but
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Pryor had 76, 1975. So in 75, he won the National Golden Gloves title. And then I think he was in the 132-pound weight class. Yeah. Because Sugar Ray Leonard was 139.
Mm-hmm.
So he had beat Tommy Hearns
Yeah.
and then fought Howard Davis, who was my next door neighbor. He's from
Wow.
Long Island. Yeah. Howard Davis Jr. Yeah, he boxed Howard Davis Jr.
Uh.
And as you can see, Davis was the one that won it. And
Mm,
he became the Olympic champion, Howard Davis.
yeah.
That's
So
insane.
Pryor turned pro and without that contract, that's what made him mad. That's why he fought like that. Because
Wow.
when 1976, the big contracts went to all the gold medalists,
Mm-hmm.
right? ABC Television was the one that sponsored it. So ABC was like the HBO back then.
Okay. Okay.
So those were, and it was on NBC, ABC, NBC. These, they were holding. This is when boxing was on TV. This was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were famous. Everybody was super famous because they was fighting on national TV every Saturday night,
Mm-hmm.
Saturday afternoon. So Pryor became a sparring partner, getting Howard Davis ready because Howard Davis signed his big contract. So he would pay Pryor, who was poor at that point, you
Yeah.
know. So he would, well, this was allegedly. Well, you know what? I could say I've seen one of these fights. I've seen one of those sparring matches,
Oh,
and
okay.
Howard Davis handled. That's why I couldn't understand. How could he do this and not? And what happened to him as a pro?
Yeah,
Other than,
yeah.
but Howard Davis used to handle Aaron Pryor. I couldn't believe it. But Pryor was so wild. He threw a lot of punches and he would leap at you and stuff like that.
Right, right.
Whereas Davis was like almost the perfect boxer.
Mm,
So he
Mm-hmm.
would just slide back and bam, bam, bam. And he
yeah.
kept doing that over and over again. And he had a great jab and then they all boxed like Ali back then. So it was like a
Right.
miniature Ali. So yeah, the Howard Davis used to really beat up on
On air.
Aaron Pryor.
That's a
Mm.
Cincinnati boy too, man. I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that.
I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah, they
But
both been in the.
those beatdowns, have to say it like that, but those beatdowns made Aaron Pryor who he was
Mm-hmm.
because he made sure to never make those mistakes in his fights.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go through that. It's that turning point. It's like either this is gonna keep happening, or I got to channel
Well,
this something.
Absolutely.
most guys get a beat down back in the day. I have to say that. Most guys, that, and I've seen it myself,
Mm-hmm.
especially because there was so many fighters there. The
Yeah.
ones that don't make it is usually because life happens.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And it's
there's
not
a
the
lot
social.
of little luck in there.
It wasn't the social media era where it was fear of getting the beat down and someone bringing it up with and
Right.
coming up with of it.
I
It
hate
was
it.
just a part.
I hate it, man. I hate it.
It was just a part of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So, Coach, real quick before we get into anything else, I kind of want to touch back on just kind of your younger days. Your amateur style, kind of what you did, what made you successful, but also who were some of like the notable names that you had to fight back then? Only taking 7 losses, that's crazy, but I got to hear more.
Yeah.
I did stop a guy named Lonnie Bradley.
Okay.
He became the WBO middleweight champion. I stopped him twice actually, and the ones the oh, he did beat me. Yeah, we fought 3 times. What am I saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. He beat me in the nationals, the one that
Oh,
counted. I think I came in a little overconfident. So
yeah.
he
Yeah.
had won the last round, and I don't think, yeah, I would have to give that to him because he ran. He
You said
ran
he
on
ran.
me. He ran on me, and I was a tall guy, but I was kind of aggressive too. So I had a jab. I was a southpaw, and I was a fast southpaw. I had a loss to Chris Bird too. He became the IBF heavyweight champion.
Okay.
We boxed in the because he's from Flint, right? Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was an Ohio tournament actually. I didn't mention in Ohio. There was
Mm-hmm.
this fair. It was the Ohio Fair. They used to call it the Fair, Ohio Fair.
Do you
And those guys, it was a big, big tournament back then.
do you
I
remember
wonder
which
if they
city?
still have that. I don't.
Had to be
Was
a
it
big one.
Cincinnati? Maybe it was, or was it Dayton? I
Oh,
forget.
not that memorable. Not too many memorable cities in there. So I think it was. I'm looking it up. It might have been Columbus.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It
Because
Which
might
I
is
have
was a
been.
what now?
teenager back
What
then.
what is it now? The Ohio State Fair now currently?
Yeah.
Ohio
Yeah.
State
Mm-hmm.
Fair, right, right,
Yep, absolutely.
right. There
It
used
looks
to be
like
some big, big tournaments back then.
it does. They do it in Columbus still. I don't know if that was where the old location was, but it looks like they do it in Columbus.
Okay, because I was a teenager back
Yeah.
then when I
It's
was
like
fighting those guys.
like you just get to the city, you in the hotel, and you just getting ready for the
Yeah,
fight. Like you couldn't
that's
really.
what it was. I really didn't care. I just was just like it was a long bus ride. And then we went to the hotel, and then you go into this arena, and then boom, you box.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was almost every weekend. So at some point, you just started. Like, where are we at?
You get
Maryland?
new,
Oh,
but you get numb.
Ohio? Yeah.
Yeah. Go get some food, and that's about it.
Right, right, right.
That
But
makes.
some of those guys I lost to, I thought it was pretty close. You
Mm-hmm.
know, another guy that I had beat, he went on to win the WBC light heavyweight title. His name was Julio Gonzalez. He was about 6 feet tall. He was a tall kid. He was
Okay.
a tall kid. He was younger than me though, but he was really young. But I guess okay. I guess I got him because I was older than him. So maybe that doesn't count.
What weight class did you fight out of?
I was a middleweight. I was
Okay.
light middleweight. Yeah. So teenage, I went through those divisions like everyone else.
Yeah, for
My
sure.
first fight, I was 125.
Ooh.
Okay.
Then, yeah, then I went into 32, 39. Funny, I never fought at 47. I went right to 56 because you had
Okay.
those growth spurts as, you know, in high school.
Good.
Right. So I went to 56 and I stayed at 56 for, I guess, for the rest of the time. And then I think in my last couple of fights, it was 65.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
that was it for me. I never fought at light heavyweight.
Got it.
I trained to make a comeback in 2002. I took
Mm-hmm.
many years off, and I ran into Mark Breland, and hey, what happened? So so then we started training, and then we were going to turn pro. But by this point, I had a lot of injuries. I had a
Mm-hmm.
shoulder injury, that, all kind of little knick-knack injuries. And then
Yeah.
I just said, Mark, man, I can't do it. So I was boxing a lot of heavyweights. I sparred a lot of heavyweights at this point. I sparred a lot. What I mean, I could just run through the names.
Huh?
Bert Cooper, Vanna Holyfield,
Mm-hmm.
Maurice Harris. I don't know if you guys heard that.
It sounds.
Yeah, Maurice Harris was a killer, man. But in sparring,
Yeah.
he could never really do it in the fight.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Maurice.
Hey, Maurice. Hey, but he was he was really good. He was really good. I'm telling you, but he just couldn't do it in the
Under
close.
the sparring. It was funny because I was Bill Haney and Floyd Mayweather were going at each other today, and he had brought up Bill Haney brought up how he beat Mayweather in sparring. He was like, "Yeah, your son's undefeated in sparring."
I was, hey, that was a topic. That was a topic that I wanted to touch on, but later,
We'll get
a little bit later.
And you know, it was the way Mayweather said it that was kind of funny. He's
Absolutely.
like, good job, good job,
Yeah.
good job. He's the champion in sparring. Good job.
Sparring. Yeah.
That's
He's
funny.
champion in sparring. Good job. I was cracking up when he said it like that.
That was funny. But yeah, then no, it sounds like I'm sure the sparring will take especially if that's just the avenue. And I feel like sometimes the sparring, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you take more punishment in the sparring than the actual.
You can,
Absolutely.
yeah, because the gloves are bigger and the headgear. You tend to be lazy, and you just you take these punches because you know the big headgears and big gloves. I noticed this trend that has changed. And when I was coming up, you wanted to get to these champions. You know, if a title is someone held a title and they came to your gym, you wanted to take them out so that you can say, "Yeah, I knocked this nigga out."
Yeah.
You know, you wanted that. You know, to knock them out, to hurt them. But
Right.
now you don't have that. It's like you want to like style and profile on them or be defensive and show how good defensively you are. You
Hit
know,
knock.
and then take a selfie afterwards. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like that in the 90s and the 80s. They wanted to take your head off.
Right.
I feel bad for Mike Tyson's spar partner. I really do. I feel terrible for him.
He had but you know there was one guy named Oliver McCall.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy is scary.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is the chin on him, and you know Lennox never really hurt him.
I was say
He never hurt him.
You said he did beat Lennox
Say
Lewis?
again.
Yeah, he beat Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, he knocked out Lennox Lewis with Emmanuel Stewart.
Hey,
That was my
Would have managed to.
fighter, so that's why I remember that.
yeah, Lennox
It was
knows.
a hook right hand. It was that hook right hand. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Remember I told you about that check, that left hook, that leaping left hook. Well, he
Yep.
did the hook right hand on Lennox, and he just caught Lennox when Lennox was throwing his right hand.
Yeah. And that's and he I think Lennox ended up beating him. Or did he end up beating? I don't know if he fought
Oh
him later.
yeah. Okay, so Don King, and I like Don King. I know people, you were supposed to be programmed to hate Don King, but
Yeah.
he didn't do Oliver McCall too good for that one. He took him out of the drug rehab. He was on cocaine. He's in this rehabilitation center, and this is facts. This is
Yeah.
facts. And he was champion. No, he wasn't champion. It was Tyson
He lost.
had relinquished it. He didn't want to fight Lennox, so they put up a vacant title, and he was scrounging for an opponent. Lennox was ready, so
Mm,
he got Oliver McCall, who was already trying to rehabilitate himself, and he
right.
took him out of that. So he just wasn't mentally there at all, and it
Yeah.
was 2 weeks. It was only 2 weeks for him to get ready.
Also, he
So
didn't.
he was a mess. He was a mess.
Hey,
So,
Don King
uh,
he's a wild boy for that one.
he's a promoter. He was,
He's, that's it. That's it right there. He's a promoter. A
mm-hmm.
good one, a real good one. But okay, yeah, he kind of did some people dirty, but
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
know,
say, he stepped on people on the way up,
Hey,
but
AB, if you watching this, hey, we tried to told you. We tried to told you.
B would be better off as a promoter too. To be
That's a
honest.
fact. After he was another bout, but we're gonna talk about that later too.
Yeah.
Don King, hey, one thing with Don King, two things with Don King is that he will get you a title. He
Mm-hmm.
loves titles, okay,
Mhm.
and he gets you matches. He'll make you. He'll if you're on his radar and he's trying to make a point, you're gonna get title fights. And yeah, you're gonna make some money. You're gonna make some money. Now, okay, he'll dip off the top, but
Yeah.
you gotta get paid.
Hey,
Just
I
don't watch, don't ask what he's making.
I feel like Eddie Hearn is kind of like that way now. To be honest.
hey, man.
Yeah.
No, look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I seen it all. So, AB is my favorite fighter, right? Adrian Broner. He's been out of the ring for
Mhm.
years, right?
Yeah.
It took him one fight against a no name to get ranked like 7th in the WBO at welterweight. I thought that was the
Don King.
craziest thing ever.
Exactly. Exactly. Who do you think?
Man, Don
Okay,
King.
because Don King does that. Yeah. Don
And
King does that for you.
and he up there in age, so he doing this damn near senile.
Man. Man.
It's in his blood. He don't need to be there all the way.
Hey, we need to get that hair braided or something, bro. That damn thing. I thought my
Cut it.
hairline was bad. Shoot.
Cut it.
I ain't mad at it though.
Back when he had a little afro, he would pick it out all the time.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I forgot the storyline why he had that. Because I met him a couple of times and he had told me that story, what it was. And he just felt like it would be different because people will see him. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. People noticed him with that hairstyle when he
No.
Goodness.
would comb his hair out.
Goodness.
Hear him coming. You see him.
Hey, that guy, if you meet him, yeah, okay, so you know the story with Malcolm X where he read the dictionary
Yep.
and so he was very grammatically correct and knew all the words. Well, my old Don King was like that too.
Yeah. Okay. And
Don
I'm
King
sure.
will tell you these words and he'll make you feel like a million bucks.
Yeah. I'm sure he's a nice
And
guy, though. Person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was, yeah.
No Don King slander.
Hey, Glass, I know you
Believe.
got some questions. Gary, I know you got some questions too. What's up, man?
I mean, before the question started, you want to do the recap? We've been flirting around
We
the
Yeah,
might as
let's
well
get
get
it.
it out there. We might as well get it out there.
Let's,
Let's get to it.
let's get into these meat and potatoes.
All right,
Yes,
look.
sir.
Look, so, fellas, we had a show. Me and G did a show. What was that, Friday? We said some stuff. And I think it all came true. So my whole thing was, and we talking about Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I don't care about the rest of the card. The rest of the card was kind of trash. It was mediocre at best.
Got robbed.
Yeah, it was a lot of robbery. A lot of robbery.
Leave it
Yeah,
there.
Arnold Barbosa, he should have lost, but whatever.
right.
Devin Haney, I told y'all that chin once it gets touched, we hey then we can see more things happen after that. I I had a hard time with people in the past like saying, "Oh, he's a A-class fighter. He's got all this skill. He's got everything. Like he's got power. Just wait till he moves up in weight." I He's never showed anybody that. Knockout said. I mean, he couldn't stop Regis. He put him down, but didn't stop him. So for
Yeah.
me, I think there was a lot of holes in this game that I seen over the years that I honestly figured that Ryan Garcia would touch him up and maybe potentially knock him out, and it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to go too far, but hey, the, Coach T, you go next. I know Glass and Gary they chopping at the bit, but
I want to hear from the professional.
Well,
round table.
okay, so I agree. I guess I would have to say Devin Haney is not as good as we thought, but just I just know, and I just talk from my own experience, and even from listening. I remember Mark Breland told me this story where, as Sugar Leonard, that sometimes you can get hit and you forget. That means you had a concussion, but we didn't know at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get hit and you can just go through the motions, and then
Yeah.
you get hit again and you come back.
Mm.
Well, and that can happen. That happens a lot. So because I was wondering why. I know Haney normally listens to his father,
Yeah.
but when he got clocked, and I would hear Bill say, "Feint. Don't
Yeah.
just stand there, feint. You got to feint him, feint him, feint him." And I heard him say that, and he didn't do it.
Mm.
He did, but I guess because he never recovered from the first left hook. But
Yeah.
but it's also funny that he did say you just have a left hook, and that's the hook. That's the same punch that he got hit with.
Exactly.
That he kept saying, all you got is a left hook. You know, but to say about that he doesn't have a chin. Look, there's two things. I know that people, the weight drain did do something. Those last 3 pounds, the cut does take, out of your body, and you can't put it back in 24 hours.
For sure.
Okay, the last 3 pounds, I'm telling you that weight cut does something to you, and it doesn't give you the legs. Maybe not the chin. The chin doesn't. It doesn't. It's not the chin. It's the legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you won't be able to take a body shot, and then you won't be able to. You'll be on rubbery legs, which
Yeah.
that's basically kind of what happened,
Coach.
They
right?
say
And then let me just say this, and then the second thing was Ryan was huge, man.
He
Yeah,
was.
fight
know,
night.
He was a big boy.
I mean, 160, 65, and he didn't have to go down. He didn't have to cut all the way down. He already had it in his mind because it's all out on. I mean, he told the whole story now.
Yeah, he did.
He only went to 143. He didn't have to. He knew he wasn't going to go down those last 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Whereas so you want to compare Tank where he went, what was it, 138?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a 6 pound. That's huge. That's huge. 6 pounds. That's huge.
That's a
So
weight.
and then he came back higher. So I mean, you saw those two photos of him when the one with against Tank, and then that night it just looked like he was juiced up.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
let me ask you this, Coach T. Do you think
yeah.
that's terrible for boxing? Because
No,
like we were just talking from just a professional thing. Like when you carry yourself as a professional, you know, it's one of them deals where like I feel like you supposed to meet the criteria
yeah,
no matter what. So he went into the mindset which is like I don't care about the belt. I don't care about the 1.5 million allegedly that, you know, per pound. It was just like I just want to show the world that I can beat Devin Haney. But my question is, if he would have got to weight, or if he would have made weight, would the outcome would have been the same?
It would have been the same.
You think so?
I don't think it would have been the same. I think that cut would have it would have evened the playing field a little bit, you know, because that I can't just tell you how much those last 3 pounds really. And Ryan did say he could never make 140.
Yeah, yeah.
He had said that. He said the most
Yes,
he
he
could do
did.
is 43. He said I can't
Yes, he
do
did.
30. So that tells you right there that it would have been different, and you would have seen that,
Hey,
you know, and
Coach
play
T,
it out.
I don't even want to cut you off, but I got to get this off my chest. So, like, the matchmaking, the promoters, everybody should have knew this because his last fight where he was making his 140 appearance was at catchweight at 144. So we all should have seen this coming. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Haney's should have. The Haney's made that mistake.
They did.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Yes, sir.
I think
Yes,
they
they
sir.
made that mistake.
built
They
their
got
whole
caught.
no.
I'm sorry. They got caught in that drama
Mm-hmm.
that that Devin, and that's probably one of the other reasons why he fought such a terrible fight, because he got caught in a firefight. He personally wanted to hurt beat Ryan so badly that he just threw out his strategy, and
Yeah.
that's kind of reminiscent to Tommy Hearns and Hagler. Tommy
Mm-hmm.
could have just outboxed Hagler.
Yeah.
Why didn't he do that? He said he was going to knock him out, and then Hagler's like, okay, we're going to go to war, and it's going to be 3 rounds. And then Hearns came back, oh, 3 rounds? That's what you said? Okay, well, I'm gonna get you in 3 rounds. And then
Yep.
they made a pact. Okay, well, we're gonna do it. So Hagler took him out of his game, because
Mhm.
that's Hagler's game.
Right.
That's not Tommy Hearns. You never seen Tommy Hearns go all out in the first round.
Nope.
You know, so he came in with he threw out all his game plan. So
Right.
that does happen in boxing.
Do you
Absolutely.
do you think the rematch should happen at a catch weight, or do you think they should try to make him go back down to 140, or do you think that he'd entertain that?
147.
I honestly think neither one should be 140, because
Yeah.
if it does that to Haney, then maybe Haney can't do 140 anymore. He grew. As
Yeah.
simple as that. You know, once a year fighting, twice a year fighting. Okay, yeah, he fought in December, but like
Yeah.
6 months, you can grow. He's a grown man now. He's 25. He's got a man body now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so he probably has to move up, and definitely Ryan has already said that he's not going to go down to 140. So
Yeah.
you
And he
know, catch weight would be 44, I guess. Yeah, it would have to be 44.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like, well, I mean, we've heard 3 different stories from Ryan if he wants to take the fight or not, and I mean, he definitely is a fighter that seems like he's more about the social media, his public perception, than the
Money,
belts,
yeah.
the money. I feel like the public perception is his biggest driver, and
Yeah.
and that's why, like, if it drums up enough controversy, I think it doesn't matter. He's gonna want to fight again, but he's almost like the person that will like put up a poll and like, who should I fight next, and that's who he would
Yeah.
want to.
He throws tradition out the window, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
Especially when Gary was mentioning about the belts, you know,
Mhm.
fighting for the honor of fighting for a world title. You know,
Yeah.
that was Devin Haney. You know, because Haney did not want to lose the title either. So
Yeah.
that's why he was forced to go down and make the weight.
Mhm.
Because I was assuming, man, maybe you could just, if he said he can't go down to 140, you know, but if he did 145, then Haney could have just went in at 144.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
so they did a double whammy, which I think Mayweather had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Mayweather has
100%.
I think it
year of Ryan.
was very, very strategic, and now that Mayweather conversation, or that time he was hanging with Mayweather, seems like it was a lot more than just them chatting about game plan in the ring. Like, it
Right.
felt like psychological, in stylistic, as far as like how to approach the fight.
Think
Like
about it.
all that.
Why? I mean, when did all of a sudden Ryan become this smart?
Exactly.
It's like he has the answer to everything right now. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
You know, because 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, it wasn't like that. So now
Yeah.
all of a sudden, he made all the right decisions. Come on.
Yeah. And even when he was with Eddie Reynoso, it just didn't seem like. And they were saying that that was Canelo always was saying that he just wouldn't listen, and that he was just kind of was he wasn't disciplined. And even though he's not as disciplined fighting wise, it just seems like he worked smarter, not harder, was kind of his game plan going into this one.
And
And
Derek James, you saw that clip where the man had to stop the whole corner. He had to like shut up. He told the whole corner to shut up.
Yeah.
And then that's when you saw Ryan like grab him and hold him and then he's like, "You got a jab." "Yeah, all right." You hear him say, "Yeah, all right." You
Yeah.
know, like so like Derek, hey, that's the guy that's the winner right there.
No, I agree.
That's the champion. He had a hell of a job keeping this kid under wraps the whole time.
He was like a handler. He was a handler than a
Uh,
trainer.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, he was like a handler, and
Yeah.
so to calm him down,
Yeah.
you know. But I do think that um, Ryan. That's probably why I kind of wanted Devin to win because to keep the tradition of boxing going, you
Yeah.
know. But he
Monkey.
threw the belts out.
He put a
Yeah,
monkey into it's almost like in the style of when Jake Paul first got popular.
Bingo.
yeah,
Like
yeah. He
it,
he has that YouTube thing going, and
yeah.
now, what I do like with Brian is that he is willing. Just I like if he does this because he talks a lot. So if he does challenge Boots, I like that. I like that. You know, and Pandora just challenge these guys. Just fight these guys and not
Yeah.
be afraid of social media. See, he built such a fan base that he really doesn't have to answer. You know, if he fails. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
because he doesn't
Correct.
care about the tank fight.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
everybody else does, but he doesn't. He wants a rematch. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe no, maybe it could be just his only loss. But he's not tripping if Tank doesn't come to 144. He's not tripping about that.
I think that's where his fear left. I think after that loss, and hopefully it's the same. I mean, I don't think Devin Haney really had fear, but once you lose that, I feel like that fear goes to where you're not fighting to keep a perfect record.
Mm-mm.
Like you
Yeah.
kind of,
You fighting?
it's almost
You fighting to get your get back.
But
yeah,
even with Devin Haney, and we're all witnessing a really new phenomenon because it's worse than Spence. You
mm-hmm.
know, the trashing of the fighter. You
Yeah,
know, now you see, Caleb Plant is even saying something. Everybody's now saying that no, I don't think they're always saying, but everybody's saying, hey, come on, man, just ease off of these guys. You know, you take a
yeah,
loss and you want them to retire now. Like, what is this?
yeah. That's I blame Mayweather partially for that. With
Solely,
He's the only person to
solely.
blame. He's the only person to blame.
Yeah, yeah.
you
He should
favorite,
directly be blamed for that.
everyone's favorite fighter up until Mayweather had at least one loss.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
So
right.
it was just it kind of created this fantasy land of like, and I think Devin Haney was kind of in that, him and his dad were like, I think they were just chasing Mayweather.
Yeah.
Like we the same type of plan. We'll fight people early and then we'll just start handpicking afterwards. Even though they
He was
handpick.
preparing himself. Yeah. Well, there was a video that he did. I forgot those guys' names, but he was and he was off. He was talking about how much money he made. He said
Yeah,
no one made as much money at his age at that point in time and
yeah,
winning big titles. And he mentioned the guy said, "Well, Mike Tyson," and then he said, "Oh, yeah, 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 but nobody else. You forgetting
yeah.
about Sugar Ray Leonard."
Right, right.
You forgot, he just chopped liver. Sugar Ray Leonard was he made first off he made no, it was 40,000 his first fight, but
Yeah,
he made $40,000 his first fight in
yeah.
1977.
He was a star.
Okay,
That's insane.
right, on TV, whereas Haney was boxing in Tijuana for $80. You know what I mean?
Do
Or
you
actually,
think
you had to pay them.
he lost
So
down there?
hold
I heard
on.
hell that might
No,
have
he
So
happened.
didn't
let me
lose that. He never lost it.
I'm gonna be the instigator, because we were just talking. So so I gotta ask the question because I want to know. So okay, we all said that Mayweather was like the sole blame, right? So like, is it a blame though? Let me ask
Yeah.
the question. Hold on, is it a blame though? Because like, okay, we saying something like, okay, when Stephen Curry came into the game, he changed the whole game of the whole logic of shooting, hands down, no
I'm
question,
agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
no question. So you saying, hold on. So you saying something? He got everybody being scared of getting defeated, of giving up the O. But how can you blame somebody that never took a L?
It's in my defense, I know coach has a way better
He beat more world fighters than anybody in
his path.
boxing history.
I think that everybody looks at, especially now, looks at what he did as, and they look at the latter end of his career. But he had to get to that point to where he could just protect the O.
Yeah.
But
You know,
but Glass, he still fought dogs at the end of his career though too.
yes and
Yeah.
no,
Miguel
yes and
Miguel
no.
Cotto, Andre Berto back then was nice.
He would fight people too early, in my opinion, too early or too late.
True.
He would fight people when they were young or when they were.
Again, a game plan. Who who
I
who who goes into it? Who goes into anything without a game plan?
here's
But
what I was.
but so did he change? So did he change? Did he change? Let me ask you this, Coach T. Would you think that he opened up the floodgates to people to make more money in the
Absolutely,
era
yeah.
of boxing?
And it's not his fault that the streaming came in because that's
Yeah,
why people started making less money
yeah,
because the streaming. So you took away from the pay-per-view sales. So
right.
Absolutely,
he
yes,
he
sir.
brought it up to a point and it went, it just hit the top,
Mhm.
and then yeah, the streaming came. And he changed the narrative. I understand what you're talking about, and I probably have to reassess what I had just said. I wouldn't put the blame on him, but he definitely changed the narrative, and he continues to keep talking about it. That's what buggers me out.
Yeah,
He
coach.
keeps
Yes,
saying,
yes,
"I'm 50 and
yes.
0. I'm 50
I'm
and
with
0."
I'm
Correct.
with you, coach, on that. I'm with you, coach, on that one. I think that in my head, it's like, do we expect to see another Steph Curry like career? Probably not.
Nope.
Same with Mayweather. So like, even though people should, approach the game differently, I think that you can't keep looking back at that moment in time and say I need to get to that. I think that's what Devin's problem was, but hopefully since he doesn't have that, that's not the case. And I think it's a lot of people's problems. You handpick.
I think it's, but see, I think that when you do have the O, like theoretically speaking, when you do have the O, I think it's more of not so much of the O. I think it's more of what you can call shots as far as the money.
I think that the whole A side B side thing also messed up
Yeah,
boxing.
absolutely. Exactly
Nah,
because
he 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 came up with that.
Yep,
That
I
that
was
was his
watching
word.
he
I
definitely
was
did.
wa- I was watching $1 million worth of game with Devin Haney,
Hmm.
and and he was just talking about the just the revenue that he bringing in, being the undisputed and having the O, and just what he can, like, the pool that he had
Yeah,
before the loss. So like, for me, in my mind, I'm just listening to him and I'm just like, okay, so like, for me, it's more of a finesse game. Like, if I don't get the O, like, if I keep the O, I got this pool. You know what I'm
the A,
saying? Like, I can call the shots.
yeah,
See, so
Yeah.
I gotta walk back my statement just a tad. It's almost in a sense that everybody has a role model, right? Everybody's
yeah.
had a role model or their favorite player. I think Floyd just so
Yes.
happens to be all those things for some of these newer boxers, so that's kind of all they know. They haven't really watched. I
Right.
don't care what they say. They have not watched Sugar Ray or anybody like that at
Right.
all. But like
Yes.
That's their
Yes.
goat. So like his standard is all they know. So I can't fault either
Correct.
side for that because I'm a Kobe fan. So that's
I think
that's all I know too.
I think that with every sport, the younger generation is losing like the love for the actual history
They're
of the
losing the
game.
history. Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So then you end
Yes.
up with these situations where people are. Floyd was like, I don't want to say the first, but prize fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like prize fighting has always been a thing, but like he brought it to another level with protecting why
it,
he was outside, why he was
it's
able to.
also it's also the system, because I know in boxing, ESPN used to put on a lot of old fights. There was a show called Classic
Yeah,
Sports.
ESPN
Yes.
You
Classic.
know,
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
right?
Yep. Absolutely.
As a young fighter, all those people, that's how we got to really learn about Rocky Marciano and Joe Frazier and Ezra Charles and Joe Louis and Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, all these fights,
Yeah.
and it was coming right across our TV, right?
Mhm.
Now, then later on, they started doing 30 for 30. And then
Yeah.
they would say, they'll put on Joe Namath,
Yeah.
or Dan Marino. Why was he? How come he didn't win? And I was just watching that the other day, and I'm like, wow, I'm intrigued myself because yeah, that guy had a firearm. So I'm
100%.
like,
Yes, he did.
but he didn't win a title, right? And then if you're talking about the change of the narratives with the titles, well, Bill Russell never really threw that in people's faces,
No.
you know. And there's a man that
Correct.
won 11 championships, but in 13 years, right? I think it's 13,
Yep.
right? 11
Yep.
years. Yeah, 11 championships in 13 years.
Yep.
So when Mayweather says, I won and I beat 18 champions, but then he'll say himself, the belt doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So he's throwing this narrative that, yeah, the belts don't mean anything, but I beat these champions,
Yeah.
and then whatever he says, because you don't know any of these other guys or who did it before him or who was undisputed champion. He never won an undisputed title,
Nope.
so these young guys look at him and say, oh yeah, I want to be, and they look at his cars and all his
I was just
fortune,
about to say that. I was just about to
and
say that. I was about to
yeah,
go ahead, Coach T. I was about to say
I'm just
it was just like what you were saying. Just to piggyback off what you were saying, I think in this system, in this generation, it ain't about, the sport, the art of boxing, and how it was. I think when people see it and when Mayweather talk about it, he talk about his whole body of work and what he did for the sport of boxing. Like he's showing the generation you can be a billionaire
right,
if you make the right moves. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right,
that's
right,
all this young and all this is all the younger generation know. Like, because that's all is what it's about. It's about
right,
money. It ain't about. It
right,
is not about. It's not about the era that we grew up in about the just the art itself and the
The,
love for the art.
yeah, the chess match that
Mm-hmm.
boxing can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot of things that's not said. All right, when the Nationals back in my day, and Mayweather too,
Mm-hmm.
and Mayweather was born in '79. So yeah, so
Yeah.
Mayweather too. The Nationals was once a year. The
Mhm.
Nationals was all the state champions fight each other,
Mhm.
and whoever wins the Nationals. Now the Nationals could be 3 times a year, 4 times a year. They don't really have a rhyme or reason why. And then you'll hear Haney in the press conference talking about Ryan correcting Haney, saying he won the Nationals 15 times.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
How the
Yeah.
hell do you win 15 that so in my mind, because I remember the Nationals being once a year, how the hell can you win it 15 times? But
Right.
but
Right.
no, they cheapened it. Now they just put the championships national. This guy's a national, that guy's a national. I never won a national. So now I'm like, I suck now because I never won. But it was only once a year when I was doing it, But
Correct.
then them
Correct.
guys, they have it 5, 6, got 5, 6 times to try it out.
Exactly.
You know,
With the
and
belts,
yeah,
it's like there's like
with
a normal super. You know what I mean? With all the belts, there's like there's no rhyme or reason, but they'll have like a super belt, or they'll create a belt, or like different types of championships to where the belts have
Yes,
lost.
sir.
it's easier to get to these days, so it kind of liquidates the importance of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everybody's a champion. This is a champion, that's a champion, right?
Yep.
But the skills, see where Mayweather, okay, so he did a lot of sparring before he started fighting.
Mm.
So because he said himself that he started when he was 4. So he was gonna fight at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He didn't. All of those was sparring. So
Yeah.
he really started competing at like 10 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means he was boxing for 6 years.
Exactly.
So by the time he fought, the man was super experienced, or the kid. Okay. So now he's fighting 10 and at 11, at 12, at 13. Okay, so he's racking up all these. So and I tell these guys at the gym all the time when they want to be like Mayweather, and they're starting at 21 and they want to
Yeah.
be like Mayweather. And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
Mayweather won his first title at 21.
Yeah.
So it's like you're starting when he won his first title. And you
He's
can't compare yourself to a guy like that.
yeah. It's like you running a mile. He already on the second lap. You on the first lap, trying to catch up.
Right. And it gives these guys, boxing's the only sport where people do this. Like they think they can just walk into the sport and start, making things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on now. Yeah, like I've never seen a walk-on NFL superstar. Walk on,
I guess
you
the
know,
closest, Deontay Wilder might be the closest, where he was older when he started boxing.
21.
Maybe even
Yeah.
Frank Martin.
Yeah.
Frank Martin. Yeah. Okay, that's a rare one. Yeah, Frank Martin, that's true.
It's
That's
a rare
true.
one. Those two are pretty rare, I would say.
That's true. Wilder just has this lightning bolt
Yeah.
sent from the Most High. So I don't know if you could count that one. He
Me,
just had
me calling him a boxer is only by trade, not by definition.
right, right.
So I get it.
But this generation has and I think when I was kind of trying to touch on this system,
Yeah.
they haven't grown up on watching, boxing, or I'm going to stay on boxing. They haven't grown up on watching old fights. Like I said, all these guys that I talk to when I'm training these young kids, I said, watch these fights on YouTube. They're available. Or who can I watch? And then I'll say like, okay, why don't you watch like because you wanna learn how to throw some body shots? Watch Mike McCallum.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that? And then so I have to go to Instagram and show them who Mike McCallum is. But now, what's making it worse now? You can't even watch the whole fights anymore.
Mm.
They're taking that out.
Yeah.
If it's not Top Rank or DAZN, you're not seeing a whole fight.
You getting hot?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even watch a 12-round match. So if you want to watch, a Mayweather fight, well, yeah, you can watch certain Mayweather fights, but most clips now, like especially in the last 10 years, like we still didn't even show. I know PBC got this rule or 1 year rule or whatever. Why? Why do you have that? I want to see the Crawford Spence. I want to dissect that, but you can't.
Exactly.
But you can't. But so that a 14-year-old who wants to watch how Crawford did it can't do it. He
They
can
got
only just watch a highlight.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't get to know history. This is being removed out of boxing, just like the rest of the country. But
Yeah.
definitely out of boxing, you're just removing boxing history. So when you mention someone, they have no idea. They think Mayweather's the greatest of all time. Where they see
Yeah.
Yeah.
that.
Correct.
Clarissa Shields. Somebody asked that of Clarissa Shields. Who do you think is the greatest boxer of all time? Her top three. She said Muhammad Ali, and then she said Mayweather. I'm like, oh man, girl, you don't even know who Sugar Ray Robinson is?
I was gonna say, that definitely is a direct result right there. That's a direct result.
Right. And that's Clarissa Shields.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
supposed to know a little something about boxing, right?
Exactly. At her level, you would think that
You
I
would
would
think.
definitely think.
Tank just said he just heard of Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Yep.
He said, I'm gonna have to watch him.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're 30 years old, man. 29 or whatever. But come
29.
on, like, man, you
Holding up.
just are learning about Marvelous Marvin Hagler. He really said that.
Crazy.
It's insane.
And,
Yeah.
It's insane.
no,
But
it's only going to get worse though.
it's
It's only going
only
to get
gonna
worse.
get worse. Only gonna get worse. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't know. Like I would say if anything, within the next 20 years, social media being what it is now, you'll be able to see everybody, but you won't be able to see those older guys, man, at all.
Well, I mean,
No,
even
right.
it's the highlight era. Like, everything forced you. Even like IG, TikTok, all these things. It's how much can you get condensed into this amount of time?
Yep.
And and same with YouTube. What Coach was saying, it's like every single fight, you get the highlights. You get right before the knockout. You get right before someone went down, or if the important parts of the fight. But the process, we losing the process of things.
Mm-hmm.
We
I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
something what Mayweather used to do, which was kind of interesting. He would, and they do this, they still do this tactic today, but he started it. He started it.
Mm-hmm.
You used to know when you was going to fight.
Yeah.
But when Mayweather was fighting, he wouldn't let anybody know until 6 weeks before. So none of those opponents would know. He's training. He knew. So he had that advantage. Now I know that's him. You know what I mean? So okay, I mean you can't fault that. That was a good strategy, but that's a lot of those sneaky moves that he used to do. Now if you put him back in the 40s when they were fighting every other week and every other month, that's why you see he has to have a loss. He would have to have a loss because you would fight. You find out you're fighting the guy next month.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you only have 3 weeks to get ready. I'm talking about next month. And that's what Sugar Ray Robinson was doing.
Mm-hmm.
The only
Mm-hmm.
reason why Robinson, most of those losses came at the tail end when he was in
Right.
his 40s or 30s, whatever, and that was at the end. But
Right.
but when he was coming up, you know, uh, I know he went 40 wins, and then he had to move up and fought Jake LaMotta, who was like a Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he was a welterweight, right? And then they said that was even close. There's a picture of him going through the ropes, but they said that was close. And then he beat him 5 times back, five times back. Okay. And he just demolished him in the last one,
I'm gonna say
right?
I'm gonna say for everybody who doesn't know who Jake LaMotta is, if you go play fight night, build a career, and you fight him, he's hard to beat. That boy's hard to beat.
He had a
So,
granite jaw. He had a
so Marcus,
granite jaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
before you change gears, whatever. I just got this question. So, what makes so in y'all opinion, what defines like like Mount Rushmore? Like, what makes somebody the GOAT?
I would say
Since we're on this topic of, people say that Mayweather is on there, people say he's not, people say, like this person on there and not. What defines the GOAT? What's the Mount Rushmore in boxing?
I feel like everyone's opinion. It's a very opinionated
it
question. I feel
is.
like every definition of Mount Rushmore maybe.
I I feel as if like Mount Rushmore, it almost has to go. It almost has to go heirs at this point. Like it can't. You gotta. It's a lot of fighters out there, man. It's a lot of fighters. Like you have to maybe break it off into heirs.
Yeah. Or who changed? Sorry for cutting you off. It's
You good?
like a defining moment or defining fighter of an era. Like people didn't start
Right.
doing this until this person came.
Exactly.
Type
Exactly.
or something.
I like that. I like that. I would like to just make sure we take a criteria out
Mm-hmm.
because it seems like this generation uses, and maybe I shouldn't say this generation. The culture today, I'll just
Yeah.
say that they use pay-per-view sales
Mm,
as a as a
Mm,
point of how great the fighter is, and I
I
absolutely.
think we
like that.
should do away from that.
I like that.
Absolutely.
You know, so if we
Absolutely.
can move that out, then you can think about maybe because is Bivol a big ticket sales person?
No, but
You
Nope.
know what
he's
I
one
mean?
of the best fighters or the best pure boxers
Yeah,
in the sport. It ain't
Yeah.
even
right.
close.
But Turbiev is a pure puncher. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And Lomachenko wasn't really a you know ticket sales guy either.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? But Gaddy was a ticket sales guy.
Yeah. I think Loma on
A
pay per view maybe once,
I
maybe
think that
because he
was
was
against
on.
Devin
Oh,
Haney.
right, pay-per-view. Right, right, right. So because that's one of the major criterias for Mayweather. How much
Hmm.
sales he did, how much he made. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would put him as okay. So I like that too. The era part. You could say division too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, you could do
Also,
that. You could do that.
So what division would Mayweather be, or are we going to use the last division that they were in?
I'm gonna go
yeah.
47.
Okay.
I so
Well,
so wait. Can we do 47 combined with 54 because that's still welterweight
right,
technically?
right, right. Well, Sugar Ray Robinson was undefeated.
I don't know if he's on there for
Okay,
welterweight.
see that's crazy. See, because Sugar Ray Robinson never got beat at welterweight.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sugar Ray. I would put him above Mayweather as
So
far.
when we talking about besides pay-per-view sales, once again, what is the criteria? What makes you put like a specific person in that Rushmore
It's all preference
is
at
the
that
question.
point.
Traditionally, I'll just say this, because pay-per-view, look, pound for pound was the title for Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that was the first pound for pound. They made that for him
Mm,
because he was the most faultless fighter and he beat all these champions from the bottom, from featherweight all the way to light heavyweight. So no one did what Sugar Ray Robinson did at that time, So that's
Mm-hmm.
why they made him a pound for pound. But now, so then after Sugar Ray Robinson, it was always what other fighter, because they always say be a great fighter, you have to beat a great fighter. So how many
mm,
great fighters did you beat?
mm.
And that was a criteria. That was actually the major criteria for being one of the greatest of all times was that you beat other great fighters in your era, not old ones, not lighter ones, but the ones that was a tiger just like you were.
Right.
So that's why Sugar Ray Robinson was one of those. Sugar Ray Leonard, I always thought he was because of Duran, Hearns, Benitez, Hagler. I mean,
Mm.
that's a hell of a record to
Yeah,
have.
that is. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a solid resume.
Can I give y'all my
To
Mount Rushmore? It's 4, right?
Yeah.
or
So I'm gonna give y'all.
Or
I'm gonna give y'all four complete ones. So we're gonna go Muhammad Ali. We'll go Roy
Are
Jones.
we
Huh?
so we're taking the weight class out of it on this one, I'm
I
assuming?
mean, I'm cool. I mean, we can do weight class too. So like, I'm gonna just give.
I was seeing what your criteria for your like for this one you're giving.
So the one I'm giving is it's just a standard criteria. Like it doesn't nothing matters at this point. Like it's really just four people you think were.
Outside the ticket sales. We ain't putting
Yeah,
them in
yeah.
this.
No, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I'm gonna go Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones Jr. Um, where it gets tough. You almost gotta put Floyd in there. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's
I
tough,
mean, he
man.
definitely is top. I mean, 18 years on and as champion. Okay, I
It's a
mean,
tough
yeah,
one, man.
okay.
It just so like
20.
so what I look at.
20 years, huh?
I don't know if you guys have ever looked on like box or box rack where you can see
Yeah.
like if you just look at the people he's beat, it's hard not to put him up there. Like
I mean, dude, it
When-
doesn't like hold on, because you go back, we just said Coach T just said if correct me if I'm wrong, you said you go back to who you beat in your era
he beat everybody he
that
needed to
Right.
beat.
defined. He went 16-0 against the top champions every time he defended it's no
Now,
question.
Oscar,
okay,
It's no
let
it's no question.
I want
like
to
look at
clarify some of that because Mayweather did not fight the top guys all the time.
never.
Okay, he
I
never.
can fight
Vernon
him when he's
Forrest,
top.
yeah, Costa Zoo, Vernon Forrest. Vernon Forrest would have got him, and he
Yeah.
avoided
You
Vernon
think?
Forrest because he knows that. Yeah, he would have got
Personal loan or line of credit, even
him. Mhm.
What about
No,
can I throw
I think that.
Vernon Forrest would have got him because of Vernon. You saw what he did to Mosley, and that
Yep.
was a younger Sugar Shane
yeah,
Mosley. And
Exactly.
Mosley was super fast,
he had
and
power.
he had that, yeah. And so styles do make fights, and Forrest was really good with boxers, just like Tommy Hearns. Tommy
Hmm.
Hearns was really good against defensive, flashy boxers. I don't know what it was, but Tommy Hearns could anytime it was a flashy defensive boxer, he took him out. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about Sugar Ray Leonard because Sugar Ray Leonard turned into a puncher that night,
Yeah.
right? But Duran was a good defensive boxer.
Hmm.
He killed him. Benitez had that radar. He had a great defense, very hard to hit. But Tommy had that jab on him. And then he was 6'1". He was a freak of nature. So there was no I couldn't see. And even Manuel, he would always say that Tommy would have knocked out Ray. Ray Leonard said that too, actually, about Tommy Hearns. Would have knocked out Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Not beat,
Probably,
knock out.
probably.
So as far
Who would have
as
knocked out Floyd?
Tommy
Tommy
Hearns,
Hearns.
Thomas Hearns
He was huge, bro. He was huge.
at,
You
at welterweight.
you would talk about boogeyman. That's like you don't want someone that size in that division with
Six
that type
foot,
of reach.
bro. 6 foot. Power, strong, quick, footwork, all of it.
Yeah.
Bro,
And
Marcus,
he's an Olympic fighter.
look at me. Look at me, Marcus.
What?
Floyd would have.
When you talk about that, when you talk about if it's my money in the bank,
Don't tell me you
and they
picking
say,
Floyd
You picking
man, you
Floyd?
crazy, you crazy,
over Thomas
Over Tommy Hearns?
Yeah.
you
No,
crazy.
not over Thomas
He's a
Hearns.
Floyd
Because
fan.
he wouldn't be able to get past that jab. Let me tell
Floyd.
you, Mayweather never fought another fast fighter. I mean, I don't know why he avoided Amir Khan because I thought he would have beat Khan, but he didn't want to fight Amir Khan. He doesn't like faster fighters.
Amir Khan had a
Zab was the
glass
only.
chin though.
Boom,
Yeah, but I'm just
knockout.
saying he's fast. He doesn't like fast guys. I'm talking about Mayweather,
Yeah.
and he just didn't like, and he didn't like big punches either. So a fast guy
He
like
got in there. He got in there when Marcus Staples boy got his jaw broke and
who's
fought
this?
him twice.
You talking Madonna?
My
And he was a brawler.
Donna
Yeah,
was more.
but he's a clubber. He's not really
It's
you
like
know, a one
Esau.
punch knockout
It's
guy.
almost like Isak. It's almost like
It's like
Isak.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
exactly.
Mayweather knew how to pick his opponents. That's one of the good things about him.
Hmm.
And if you notice, all the opponents was come forward guys.
Hmm.
yeah. Yes.
Great for counterpunching. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he never really, he avoided. He didn't really want, Keith Thurman that was coming up because he was a boxer type. Timothy
mm,
Bradley,
He wouldn't have fought
no,
Keith Thurman.
a
He wouldn't.
young Keith Thurman, not we know how he fizzled out, but a young Keith Thurman coming up,
that would have been
he was
tough.
good.
That would have been tough.
He would.
Yeah,
He wouldn't have fought
he
him.
didn't want these guys, And like I said, Vernon Forrest, that guy, the jab on Vernon Forrest and that right hand, that was crazy.
Yep.
I thought he could have beaten Costa Zuba. I don't know why he never won Or
There's
maybe
a reason.
Katsuzuma.
It could have been money, man. It could have been money involved.
He knew it. He
Yeah.
knew it. He was the ultimate matchmaker. He was the for himself.
Mhm.
He was the ultimate maker. You can see how the log jam, like it was a log jam in that division until he left, and then everything just like you would see how people were fighting. Like, oh wait a minute, he was good. He was good. Maybe he would have beat. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was never like a, because of the gravity of Floyd and like him picking. Like, I'm not saying trash guys, obviously trash guys, but there were guys that he purposely knew he was not gonna fight at, except.
But when after the hand pick of guys that Coach T just named, right? Since when in any sport has it not been about money? Tell me that.
It just became saying like
Tell me that.
that's the problem. I mean,
tell me that.
So in Gary's defense, I think it was all about money with Floyd throughout his entire
Yeah.
career.
Well, when he
Yeah.
became Money Mayweather, then it's like, yeah.
Because when he became Money Money. Because before that, these guys was fighting each other. Hey, James Toney didn't care about the money.
It's true.
That's
I mean, he cared, but he didn't really care. He boxed everyone. You know, he didn't have to fight
His manager.
Montel Griffin. You know,
Mhm.
he didn't have to fight him, and then he lost to him, and he had an immediate rematch, and
Yeah.
lost to him again.
Yeah. In the 90s, all
You
the heavy,
know,
like they were making a lot of money, but they were all fighting each other. It wasn't like I'm gonna avoid this guy, I'm gonna avoid this guy, I'm gonna avoid this guy. They were all knocking each other out and then fighting again. That's how we had so many, 2 and 3, trilogies and things like that, because it was more about I
yeah.
need.
In the '90s, the UK guys they were making money, but they still was avoiding. They avoided James Toney.
True.
You know, those super middleweights did not want anything with James Toney, and they didn't really want Roy Jones either.
Mm-mm.
So Nigel Benn stayed boxing. Was the other guy his nemesis? Ben versus what's that other English student? His son is fighting too.
Eubanks.
Eubanks, yeah. So he only stayed on Eubanks.
Yeah.
But they could have came over here, and they didn't. They preferred to stay in England.
So
Right.
But the money was here, so it really wasn't
Yeah.
always about the money. They just wanted to, just they were comfortable, and they just wanted to fight in their area, in their hometown.
So let me.
So it wasn't always about the money. And I know today it's all about it, contracts and stuff like that. But there was a time where the fighters just wanted to win. They just wanted to be great and be the best.
Right.
Well, let me give y'all. Or go ahead, Glass, real quick. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the streaming era, what he was bringing up, and how promoters are pretty much, almost handcuffed to like particular streaming services or what have you. So it's almost like the pressure is like, to bring in the money now. It seems like it's even more because of, it's even heightened because everyone's kind of like, you have to bring in ESPN this amount of money. You see what happened with Showtime and folded.
Mm-hmm.
So, it seems like everybody's in a constant, even like, the promoters have always been about money, but it seems like everybody is the heightened part of the money aspect of it.
Agreed.
Well, remember PBC, they tanked Showtime. You had a big contract. They gave you a lot of, I think it was 400 million in that area. No, was it 300? It was 300, and then half of that went to Canelo.
Yep.
You can't do stuff like that. You had all these fight dates, and you just threw away the fight dates, and you just want Canelo. You gave a big contract to keep one guy when you could have spread it out to all those other fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And that really messed up Showtime. Huge. They were losing money all the time, and then he wasn't even selling. The sales wasn't what it was. It didn't break even. Didn't even break even.
Al Heyman's making that same mistake, by the way.
Right. He started out really well, Al Heyman. And well, what to say about that guy? I don't want to say too much, but
offline.
Yeah, because I might have to work with him. So, but he could have done a lot better. I would say they could have done a lot better. But also, again, it's changing the narrative of how we look at fights. Now we can
Mm-hmm.
only look at them as how much can they sell, papers you sell. Well, what is he selling? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it sucks now. Like you get because this new crop of guys, you got to have an Instagram following now.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys, these new guys, got to have that going, and then they have to have little little training videos to do. That's their 24/7,
Right.
Exactly.
and then they got to perform. There's a good guy. I like him. His name is Montana Love, right?
Oh
Yeah.
I
God.
like. I
Yeah.
really like this guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he's exciting. I know.
I'll give
He is,
I'll give you that.
but he let it go to his head.
Mm,
Because of the social media. He was putting on, all these funny sparring videos, beating up these guys, and that was a little tasteless. He's beating up on guys that can't fight.
right.
He's just whooping on them, man. Then he puts a rap video on, you know, and then, he's got a little dog and a mink coat, all this stuff, right?
Yep.
Man.
So
Yep.
he's giving interest. This guy never even won a title yet.
Exactly.
So he's building up this interest, and then a little controversy happens. You know what I mean? And then
Then he gets
again,
slept.
social media. Yeah, but social media, yeah, the
Yeah.
chin,
It's a
But
gift because it'll get
he's
the fight
still
out.
exciting to watch. But you want to throw him out because he can't take a punch.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Forget him. But that makes it exciting because he could still punch.
Right. Right. And that's that's the old thing. That's the and that's if you don't have the right people behind you, you can't really recover from having the or
Not
not.
everybody is meant to be a super world champion. Some guys are just made for TV type fighters.
Yeah.
In the
That's
80s, there was
okay
a guy
too.
named Frank. Yeah, there was a guy named Frank the Animal Fletcher,
Mm,
and he was a super exciting middleweight. And who would probably be like him now?
Maybe Earl
Remember,
Spence.
let's say Isak
Errol
maybe.
Spence?
What's the dude that
Yeah.
uh what's the dude that the Colombian dude that fought Deontay Wilder all those times?
Oh, not Frank Sanchez. Luis
Uh,
Sanchez.
Luis something. Ruiz or
Not Andy Ruiz. But I think Luis.
Well,
I know what you're
he
saying.
was. Who was the guy that Canelo knocked out in 5 rounds? This black kid, light skinned kid, and he
Oh,
was really good
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
from Texas, and he was a blood and guts type of fighter from Texas.
Yeah.
Canelo.
James something, James, I forget his name, but Frank the Animal Fletcher was like this kid, made for TV, slugging it out. Sometimes he won, sometimes he didn't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But the fights was always exciting, always exciting. You know, that kind of guy would be trash today. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's a fact.
Because he took a L. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
some guy, but Frank the Animal Fletcher could never make it to Marvelous Marvin Hagler level. Because they was trying to make a bill it to, okay, if he can get to Hagler, this will be another a Hagler Hearns before Hagler Hearns came.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of excitement he brought. But he never made it. But he was still made for TV. He still was a super exciting middleweight. He just was limited. But
Right.
because today we only look at winners, like you can't be mid range. It's like in WWE, if you guys are fans, but I'm from the '90s era. But
Yeah. I was
you had
watching.
you had the Intercontinental belt. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not all of those guys won the title.
Yep.
You know,
It had the Intercontinental WCW had a set of stuff like that too. But yeah, it
mid
was
range. That's what they call it, the mid range, wrestlers. You know what I mean? And but boxing can't do boxing used to be like that. You just had mid range cards, that could win a little title here and there and excite the people, but they weren't good enough for the elite level.
Yeah. Also,
and now it's like elite or nothing.
Right? It was James Kirkland.
James Kirkland, yeah, that guy was so exciting coming up. HBO was bringing him up, and it was HBO and Showtime at that time. And yeah, every fight was Jim Lampley loved that guy.
Yeah,
Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant, they loved him, man, because he was so exciting. But you knew when you watching him, he wasn't going to be, you know what I mean, world champion, top guy. But he was exciting to watch, and they knew that too.
Yeah, and you kind of need that for the mid-level fights is excitement to keep people. If you know there's going to be a knockout, because I'm looking at his record, 37 fights, 30 knockouts, and I think he lost. All his losses were by knockout, so it was boom or bust.
Right, by knockout, right. And Canelo did him dirty because he was, I think he was coming out of rehab or some scenario like that, and then Canelo, wanted to just let's fight. He did one of those Mayweather things. And Ann Wolf was his trainer, and then he made sure he didn't. What was really that was a I didn't like that move. He wrote in the contract he did not want Ann Wolf to train James Kirkland.
That's crazy.
He had that in the contract.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was wild, man. That's how much he was afraid of James Kirkland, because he said if we can ever because he was undefeated with Ann Wolf. And that was the whole thing. If they could get back together, then they could rekindle that magic. So when they were making that fight, Canelo said, "I don't want Ann Wolf." Well, I don't know if he said it, his management said it.
That is wild.
Yeah. See, I don't agree with that. No,
I'd be interested. Floyd contracts. I'd be interested to see some of them to see if they have some stipulations. We'll lead it.
Man,
well, he had this IV thing.
Floyd, Floyd, if you ever see this, bruh, yeah, we like this, brother. Don't even worry about it, bro. I'm gonna keep the dream alive, bro. Because hey,
that's what it is. He's selling
the dream. What it is.
He's selling the dream.
Nah, it's different because it's like I said, if you look at every narrative of sport, people right now, like right now in this era, say right off the top, LeBron is the GOAT, the best player, and he's not that. He's not that.
Statistically.
In this era of basketball, like just like Coach T was saying, in this era of basketball, he is. You know what I'm saying? But you put him with the bad boys, Pistons, and all of them, where this flopping stuff was never a thing. Right. Where you could elbow and you can do all of this stuff. Ain't no way he would have been able to withstand all of that.
In the same vein,
he's number. I give him top 5.
Well, that's why
we were top 5.
That's why Coach was saying that Floyd Mayweather would get stopped by Hearns.
Yeah,
could be.
So you know what I mean? It works both ways.
Could be.
Speaking of, to round out my Rushmore, I gotta put Canelo 4 if we're going to Ayers, because he's had a dominant run, very dominant run.
Mexican fighter Roberto Duran.
Roberto Duran is nice.
Canelo, I gotta disagree with you here. Canelo in the last, you're talking about in the last 40 years of fighters, or Rushmore is when? Like, is this like the last 10 years?
No, I'm talking more his era. Like, just honestly, his dominant run. You got to put it up there. I think it's one of the greatest that we've seen. But I don't like the fact that he hasn't fought David Benavidez, so I kind of got to part ways from there.
He's another hand picker. He fought Triple G after Triple G. He should have.
So it's true.
So
it's true.
So here we go. So now we in this specific criteria. The only way you can be a Mount Rushmore, a GOAT, is if you fight everybody.
Yes.
That's
He's
y'all.
setting you guys
Oh
up.
man.
He's setting you
Oh
guys
man,
up for the
y'all.
Mayweather.
Oh man,
Oh,
y'all.
I see where I see the hook. I see the left hook coming.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm over here sweating. I think I done. Hey, excuse me, internet. I think I popped mine because I'm sweating.
I'm just saying. You look at
I
it
can't believe this. I can't believe this.
like Canelo
All right,
fight.
how
Lord have
about?
mercy.
But okay, what about? But did any of these guys face them while they were young and undefeated?
No,
There you go.
no. That's what I'm saying. No.
Caleb Plant.
But Sugar Ray Leonard did.
Sugar Ray Leonard definitely did. Sugar Ray Robinson definitely did.
Ray Robinson did. Muhammad Ali did.
Canelo did
Muhammad-
too. Canelo did too. Canelo did
Who?
too.
No, he
Who
didn't.
did he?
Caleb Plant.
Oh,
No.
Don't
do
do
that
that to Caleb
You
See,
got to
Plant.
look.
be
Don't do that.
another great fighter.
He said he was a great fighter. He was undefeated with a belt.
You know, when we were talking about fighters that are good but not great, like, you know, that we need for the sport, Caleb Plant fits in that criteria.
No, don't do that.
Right. He's not a great fighter.
No, he'll never be undisputed.
He would never be undisputed. Yeah.
He's not that.
Well,
He's
not
not
a
that
lot of
type.
people can say that.
But Mayweather is up there because he did beat undefeated Canelo.
Yeah,
Right.
Well,
And I
Mayweather
don't
has
buy
beat
that about He was
everybody.
too young. He wasn't too
Whitewash.
young either.
wasn't Canelo like 19 or something?
Nah,
It don't matter.
He had
It
7
don't
titles.
matter.
He was making his 7th title defense, I think. So he was definitely
Yeah,
a seasoned champion.
and he had been in there since like he went pro early too. He was one of the ones that went pro early.
Yeah, he went early at like 18 or pro at 18.
I
So
would
I
have
guess-
liked for Mayweather to fight Margarito. You know,
Yeah.
that would have been interesting.
Yeah,
Man, that dude was putting bricks in his hands.
Yeah,
In his man, come on, man. What?
honestly, I would have liked to see him fight Sean Porter.
Floyd?
He's
Man,
Floyd would have picked him apart.
Can't box. Yeah, he can't.
well,
Yeah,
he's
you
a,
would've
Shaw Porter can't box, bro.
He would have picked Porter apart. Yeah.
he would pick him apart, but I would have liked to see it. That's how. That's
Oh
how,
yeah. That would have been nice.
yeah. I would have liked to see him at least, you know. But Thurman was probably the biggest, like, Kell Brook maybe.
What about Adrian?
Back-
What about Adrian Broner in Prime vs. Prime? That's a great fight.
No,
That's a great fight.
yeah, yes, but I honestly think that the lead up to that fight would have been more entertaining than the fight.
The fight would have been crazy, bro. Think about it. You got fireworks from AB because he at that point he's throwing like he's not worried about none of that, and they were both at 147 at one point in time. Because when Paulie fought him, Floyd was still active. He was at 147. He had a belt.
Yeah,
But I'm telling you, that fight would have been closer than what we think.
You know what? It would have been an exciting one. Those two at super lightweight.
Yes.
Because that's when he was a phenom back then.
Yes.
So that would have been at that time if they fought each other.
140.
Whew. Yeah.
Coach, who's on your? It's top. Who is on your Mount Rushmore? And you can pick any type of criteria. Who would be your Mount Rushmore?
Okay, for different reasons. So I'm gonna go back a minute. I'm gonna say I already said Sugar Ray Leonard, but I'm gonna add Muhammad Ali because he changed all of sports.
Yeah,
You know,
Absolutely.
matter of fact, he was the one that put in the $1 million purses.
yeah.
No one did that before Ali. So Ali, he definitely changed the game on that level. So that Muhammad Ali and the length that he had, and he fought, some killers in his 20s, and his 30s, and his mid 30s, late 30s. You know, this is a guy that fought everyone twice. You know, or if he could get him twice, he would 2 times, 3 times. So Ali has to be there. Joe Louis, because he reigned for so long, 12 years straight in one division, okay? And it was an undisputed title, right? So Joe Louis was another one, and then he fought during a time where the racism was crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he put a significance to black fighters at that time. Matter of fact, he wasn't even considered a black fighter back then. Anytime a president can call and ask for Joe Louis, the chant. Can you imagine? Well, the president died down now.
Yeah.
but
Now.
It's like the significance of Joe Louis. That was a time where the whole of Black America was behind one guy. That we don't even understand how that sounds even today. Because we're so splintered now. But Joe Louis, I would say I would put him in there. Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali. Oh, you're saying 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Man, if you got an honorable mention, you could throw that in there too.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, thank you. So Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, and these are not in the no one. I'm just saying any of the 4, and then Floyd Mayweather for sure.
Okay.
I like that.
Also, I was gonna, you imagine during the racism and at the height of racism, and you get to knock out a white dude.
Yeah. Well, they were looking for Max Schmeling, a Nazi Germany, and they liked when he won. He won the first fight.
Yeah.
He KO'd an undefeated cocky Joe Louis, young undefeated cocky Joe Louis. And then and he beat him down. Okay, like Devin Haney. Yeah. Joe Louis got the beat down.
I'm not gonna lie, they was doing eugenics in Nazi Germany, so we don't got
way back. Yeah,
that's a fact.
So, and let me say again.
He might have been crafted in a lab. To be honest,
there's an interesting backstory with that fight. When they were getting ready, Jack Johnson, who was the first black heavyweight champion,
yes,
he was visiting the camp of Joe Louis. But Joe Louis was young at this point. Joe Louis was like, 22? And Jack Johnson was trying to give his 2 cents, and he didn't. And Joe Louis, because Joe Louis was writing letters to his wife, and he was talking about it's on Google. He's complaining about why don't this old man just go back home and just sit down and leave us alone. This is what he said about Jack Johnson. So he later on he kicked Jack Johnson out of the training camp, right? Because Jack Johnson had fought his trainer, Jackie Blackburn. So that's how he got connected to the training camp.
Okay.
But Joe Louis kicked him out of the training camp. So then allegedly Jack Johnson was so mad that he went to Max Schmeling's camp and told Max Schmeling how to beat Joe Louis.
Whoa.
Wow.
And Max Schmeling listened. That's kind of similar because Jack Johnson, I always said that Mayweather gives me Jack Johnson vibes.
That's treason. At that point, that's treason, wasn't it?
Oh, he did help. He did help.
Boy.
Right? He did help Ryan. So
yeah.
They said Floyd be snitching, boy.
Yeah.
I've heard things because he's in everybody's camp. You see Floyd, and everybody got more pictures with Floyd than
Shakur Stevenson.
Right.
He got more pictures in everybody's camp than anything and any other fighter I've seen in this era. Everybody wants him to just sit in there.
Then if you go the other way, he starts hating on you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Floyd, if you ever want to, bro. Hey, Rice got your back, bro. 100. I'm from the hood too, bro.
Credit. I said he gives me Jack Johnson vibes, and Jack Johnson was one of the greats.
Rice top 4.
I thought you were gonna. I thought Jack Johnson was actually gonna go in Mount Rushmore. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna put him, but he's so. But you only have 5, right? So.
Yeah.
No, we got 4. And mine is very simple.
I'm not hating.
My top 4. Hey, Marcus Staple. You know what my top 4 is?
Floyd, Canelo. Who else?
Floyd, and Floyd. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. It's easy.
Gary, if he sees this, he's still ain't gonna give you that check, bro.
He ain't sending that check.
You gotta do the
I don't
Diddy
care.
check. You gotta,
Nah. Nah, that's when Floyd gonna get his first mess around with me, boy. Yeah.
see,
I'm
I
gonna
know.
have him I'm gonna have him like Ryan had Devin Haney booty up in there with his booty up in there. You know what I'm saying?
You buy the Diddy narrative with his booty in
Nah,
there.
nah. Hey, he play with me like that. His booty gonna be up in the air.
Oh,
You
You know, when you think about Floyd, the potential he had, he could have been the greatest promoter of all time
Yes,
That's
he
a
could have.
fact.
if if the ego wasn't, what it was. Because but then part of that ego is what made him so great.
I think it's like when they say when like artists have labels where it's like they're always in their way. I think Floyd was always in his fighter's way.
Oh man, he put them on the. If he didn't, I mean, he'll deal with you, and then he'll put you on the shelf. And then at one point, he put all these fighters on the shelf,
Yeah,
all these guys, and then they wait till the contract's out, and because he had Deontay Wilder, he had the Charlos, he had the Spence, he had all the top guys.
yeah.
Just imagine Broner, and he had all these guys.
He could have
Monte.
been Al Heyman before Al Heyman, man.
Yeah,
But you know what? Like on a serious note, like on a serious note, I was watching like this YouTube, just watching YouTube on just like investors and people of that sort. And they was just like, like the top 1%, they talking about they the most evil, selfish people in the world.
That's how they keep the money.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's exactly my point. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like in this era, that's why which I want to hit on real quick because it ties into it. What we talked about like preview was the Bill Haney Mayweather argument because one of like Bill Haney's basically like his argument was he was just like, I'm a real nigga. I'm in the streets. I'm really in the streets giving back. You know what I'm saying? And you're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? You got all this money and whatever. And he hit with like what Glass and Coach T just said. He just said like, your like what are your fighters doing? You're a promotion, but what are your fighters doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I,
had the potential because PBC had all these fighters and all the fight dates and all of the cable.
yeah,
They had it all, and they
yeah,
let it flop because they wanted to give it to the Mexican community.
yeah,
Nothing against that, but I mean that's good. But they even had a Juneteenth one, right? With
Mm.
Charlo headlining, but then what? That's the only black fighter you had.
yeah.
You
They'll
know,
pump for the mile date every single year.
Top rank too.
right?
Facts. Facts.
Right. So they had a chance to really, really do something good. And you know, there's another thing with Bill Haney that I think he was touching on him fighting Gary Russell and
Yeah,
YouTube paying for it. He was trying to get that. He's trying to see how much power can YouTube come up with, because I think he was looking at Jake Paul, Logan Paul at that time,
like
and that he was generating all this between him versus KSI.
yeah, yeah,
And Bill Haney said, well, if they could generate this much popularity, why don't we do that? But our people, really the Russells, they didn't agree. They didn't
yeah,
want to fight Devin Haney and get they didn't want to do it. They just didn't want to do it. And it really probably wasn't the father, but it was more about the people around. Like they kept knocking it down.
yeah.
It's like we're afraid to try to single out, try to do this ourselves.
Do you remember BLK and when
Oh gosh.
uh Crawford, like that whole experiment where they were trying to make that a thing?
Hmm.
That's, I mean, it could have been a black led
Yeah,
situation.
right.
as well. I think that could have been another opportunity that could have sparked off. I remember when in the infancy, well, no, not the infancy. I would say once they started picking up steam for real, Terrence Crawford apparently went to Earl and was telling like we could just do this on BLK,
He
and he
was.
no.
But Showtime shut that down. Showtime didn't want that, and that's a travesty because they just didn't want to try. They held out on paying these guys.
Yep.
The guys should have got a guarantee, and all these guys got guaranteed, but you didn't want to give those guys. You didn't want to give Crawford one, And then there was another big venue that could have happened with Javante in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He was getting a lot of love in Atlanta, but Showtime pulled the plug and didn't want that to happen. Why? Like, come on, isn't this about money? But you don't want black folks to do it. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of why Canelo has essentially had a strong one in the game, because essentially every other fight always pales in comparison because they always try to pump up. Of course, Cinco de Mayo is going to be the biggest day in Mexican history where they can rally around the fighter. And there's no inverse to that for another race, to where, particularly ours, where there's like a collectivism where we're like, all right, well, they can fight on something that has to do with us. We'll make this the bigger day. Or we'll come together and make this platform this, because this is what we need. I feel like even within like the boxers themselves, they don't see it like that level. They just kind of see the dollar signs, whatever their promoter is like telling them. It's like, yeah, you could go that route, but here, take this bag here. It's more established. Take this bag here.
Yeah. But it's just afraid to see what can all black folks do. I mean, if you look at it like the Negro leagues in baseball,
yeah,
they were selling, man.
Mm-hmm.
They were selling out stadiums, and Major League Baseball was not a thing.
Yeah,
Negro leagues was the thing.
Yeah, they had all the athletes.
Right, they had all of the athletes, all the games. Satchel Paige versus Josh Gibson.
Yeah,
and that rivalry was going on for years. And all these other guys. So it's like, what? But that could be like that in boxing. You could do that in boxing.
Right.
Don King was trying to make that happen.
Oh yeah, and that's why they was calling him crazy.
Yeah, and that's why he beat out all them guys, man. What if Don King? Because people like to talk bad about Don King. What if Don King wasn't around? Ali would not have been nowhere near where he was.
Ali wouldn't have been.
Mike Tyson either.
Mike Tyson neither. George Foreman would have had a 10-year run.
Yep.
It would have been a whole different story.
That's a fact. That's a whole different narrative.
So to piggyback off of what we said, so my question is, so is it safe to say that the promoters, whoever you signed to, the promotion team, has a big hand in who you fight as well, and if you fight,
they have all the.
It does have a big,
They have most of the hand. It seems like now, especially nowadays, you can't really like. I feel like every time I'm watching a YouTube video, it's someone's like, "Yeah, I told my promoter I wanted this fight." You know what I mean?
Well, Haney was going to destroy that. That's why they wanted to get rid of Haney.
Yeah,
because Haney was the only free agent. Because they're aging out Crawford.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So let's just keep that real. They are aging him out, but he's a free agent, and they're just they don't want him fighting, so they're just doing what they're doing to him.
Yeah.
So, but they can't do that to Haney until now, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're so happy. But Haney can make a comeback. So, but they're trying to trash him so hard, so that he won't be able to. But he was going to put a change because he can go to any, between the zone and top rank and PBC, he can go wherever, again, to put in the same light as Sugar Ray Leonard, because Sugar Ray Leonard was like that.
Yep.
He wasn't tied to just Bob Arum, top rank. He only had to go to him because of Holyfield. I'm sorry, but Hagler, but he didn't have a promoter really because he was past, he was above that. Like De La Hoya was almost like that. Well, actually, De La Hoya was like that after Aaron.
Golden Boy.
Yeah, he did the Golden Boy, and he was so now, and this is what I don't like about Mayweather, where I guess I know you want to control Tank, and you'll say when Tank fights, oh, this is not ready yet, this and that, but then you're not giving Tank. Tank is now he's getting into his 30s, and he still hasn't had a big super fight yet.
Mm-mm. Can we
What I mean?
Did Mayweather also create the not ready yet theory?
Yeah,
Mm.
that's yeah, right.
I hate
So who is this super fight? Shakur?
Well,
Yeah,
it
it
was
would have to be
Shakur, but it was
Shakur or
supposed to
Devin
be
Haney.
Haney. It was supposed to be
Haney.
I
Haney.
mean, that I don't think it'll be Devin Haney anymore.
Not no more.
No,
But
not anymore. But
it was
that was the most talked about fight. Everybody was talking about it before Ryan. Everyone was talking. I'm always every time I looked it up, there's always something about that. This one said this, that one said that.
I think we get Javante and Shakur next. To be honest with you, like
I don't know.
this winter,
I
Well,
don't know.
PP. Well,
because Shakur's
no,
a
I
free
think
agent
he's
after his
signing.
next fight.
I think he's
And
signing back with Top Rank. So
Probably.
we know too for sure. Tank said he don't want to be in the game long.
Mm-mm.
So
he's just
he
like,
said it.
yeah.
I don't think he really do.
Remember, he said he retired. Remember that? And then he came, and then now he's announcing his next fight.
You get bigger contracts like that, like the draw of this may be his last fight type of thing. I feel like you kind of get it.
Work. It does work. Yeah.
It does work. But I think that I feel like he's in an awkward weight class to where there's not too much.
Me too. Exactly. It's like after Shakur, what's next?
I mean, bro, 135 is loaded. It's loaded, but nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. Because the businessman, what's his name?
Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah, he's right there. Then the Olympic gold medalist that beat him,
Jose Venezuela, he's there.
He's there too.
William Zepeda's there.
Right. You got a new crop.
Yeah, there's some talent there.
I think the problem is my biggest. Well, I got a lot of problems. My biggest problem in the game, I think, it always seems like Top Rank goes and gets it's almost like it's a pipeline for the Olympic medalists.
Top Rank.
And and they sit there and you only fight the Top Rank. Top Rank only fights Top Rank, which that happens with other promotion groups, but I feel like that's how these divisions get jammed up because they'll end up with 2 stars in the same division. They'll never fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's,
That's Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford.
Yeah. So it's like it almost it's ended up being, for me at least, I feel like the promotion situation, and people always bring it up, how UFC, it's like everybody's gonna fight everybody because Dana White says so. But they don't get as a result. So it's
these promoters, like I said, Don King wanted these guys to fight. Don King's thing was his money was in the rematches.
Yeah,
he wanted you to have rematches so he can get paid again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he would put up these fights, and then he'll put up 5 championships in one night.
Yeah.
He would do cards like that, and that was awesome to see. So you would see Julio Cesar Chavez, Terry Norris, Gerald McClellan, McClellan, and Tyson as the header. You know what I mean? Come on, when are you going to see those? Having all those on one night again?
How do you feel about the Middle Eastern guy? I think it's His Excellency. I think his name's Turkey or something. How do you feel? I feel like he's almost kind of trying to restore that feeling.
He is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really liking that. He did that for the heavyweight division, and he's going to do that, the 5-on-5 thing.
Yeah.
I really do like him. That's why I'm like, come on. Tank said no.
Yeah,
I don't care what you got. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me 3 cards. Like what? Come on, take the money.
I was so pissed because I think that, like you were saying, with how the Don King era was, he's that type, and he has that type of money to where it's like he'll throw it. He doesn't care about going under. Like if the fight doesn't sell well pay-per-view, I feel like, and I feel like usually he's putting on the best fights when it comes to like.
Yeah.
My thing is with Tank though, man. Like he don't need that. Like he can sell a fight here. So like Tank can go get 10 mil here.
You see, so they're doing the first fight. He's doing the Terrence Crawford fight is his first fight in the States. The Turkish or I think he's Dubai.
That's in LA,
Dubai.
actually. It's going to be in
I like that. Now he has some leverage. Like, hey, we'll keep it over here. He's got leverage now. But before him going to Saudi for a fight, I mean, he's already making that type of money. So you gotta give him something different.
Yeah. I think I don't want to say. I think even if he's not with Floyd, he still has the mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he got the mindset.
Yeah, his brand is his brand.
Yeah,
like
it's
you know
over
what I'm saying.
with.
Like it's over with.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be what holds him from being like. It's the allure of Tank at some point is gonna be over if he doesn't have one of these big fights.
Right.
That's how I feel.
So
like he could
he got these fans are crazy, man. Like
I love him.
They love this guy.
I still think that the stigma behind like like the effect of just like the whole like talking about like the Mayweather stuff, like the whole even if it dwindled down with Gervonta, I still think people are tuning in because they just want to see if he gonna lose.
They want to see knockouts too.
Like that whole thing, like what I'm saying, just like with Mayweather, it didn't matter if you ain't like him or you liked him. More people tune in to see it. I want to see this dude lose.
I think it's the tunnel vision of like, there's good fighters. I think the tunnel vision of like Tank is the knockout guy. There's other people out here knocking people out. I think it's so tunnel.
Tank got the whole package. He can box. He can brawl. He got the whole package.
And he's at 135
he got it all.
too.
But, and the thing that the difference, and we know this, the major difference with Tank and Floyd, as far as seeing see if he's going to lose, was Floyd was the villain.
Mm-hmm.
So you want him to lose.
Correct.
Where you kind of want Tank to win this one. Like, can he come back? He's losing 5 rounds, and then can he come back?
Sir.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's
absolutely. Yes, sir.
His best knockouts are when everyone thought it was over.
Actually, those are exciting because when it was down all the way he beat
Mario Barrios, he was down.
Mario, he was down.
That was a lot of drama.
Yeah,
because time was running out, man. Time was running out.
It was like the 6th round, 6th, 7th round.
It was 7th, 8th.
It was like that.
No, Leo
dude.
Leo Santa Cruz is the 6th round. Mario Barrios was 11th round.
Yeah, he knocked Mario Barrios in the 11th round. Yes.
Yeah, no, around round 10, hey, coach was like, hey, we got to step on it.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right,
He said, hold my
beer.
And that was, he had moved up. Did he move up for that one? Or I think he moved up.
He went to 140.
It was 140.
Yeah, he went to 140.
So, like, he took a chance, and that was the only, I would say, the only on his resume, the only one, like, he took a chance was down. Like a defining moment. Like that's probably his defining moment at this point. Because after that is
my bad.
With Tank, it's a lot of theater. Similar to Ryan. It's a lot of theater with Tank because he does bring that knockout. People want to see knockouts, and Tank doesn't throw a lot of punches. So when he throws, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah. For sure.
That's very exciting to see.
I'm gonna be honest I'm gonna be honest with y'all real quick. So we'll touch on a couple more things, but if I had to pick a fight at 147, give me Mario Barrios versus Devin Haney, and I got Mario Barrios by decision.
You gonna leave Boots out there?
Nah, I don't want to see Boots fight Barrios. I actually like Barrios a lot. But Barrios versus Devin Haney, I'm still taking Barrios to win that fight.
Oh no, he can't get past that jab. Yeah,
Barrios has a jab too.
But not like Haney.
I think Haney jabbed him to death.
Yeah. Haney would put the boxing.
When's the last Barrios fight that y'all have actually watched? Did y'all watch Ugas?
With Thurman, I thought Thurman was flat to me. Oh, yeah. Ugas, he was doing Ugas bad, but no, that wouldn't be Haney. Haney's faster, and he's got a better skills, and then he's just a young, vibrant kid.
And I
I don't know,
think
man.
post this L where he went away from that, he's gonna I won't say lean heavier on that, but it should force him to go back to just relying on the jab instead of trading.
We hope. Maybe he wants to show people
Yeah,
he don't have a weak chin too. We don't know.
no, I think he would. He's a smart kid. He'll definitely lean on his boxing now.
Yeah. And I think even with saying he had a weak chin, he was never knocked out. He got up immediately after every one of those knocked down, I say.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the difference between him and it's just because he's black. Because Tyson Fury, stopped like 4 times, but he kept getting up. You know what I mean? But now I know he came back to win. But I'm saying like Haney, he he wasn't knocked out. But first of all, we know Ryan can punch.
yeah.
And he was taking them punches. So it was just that it just looked like every time he touched them, he was doing the
But
snake.
this ain't the only time we seen it.
We've seen
Who was
No,
the
it was
fight?
we've
only
seen
Who
Devin
was
Haney get
one other
who was
time.
who was it? Was
Linares,
that what's his name?
uh
Fury,
Loma. It's been a
Prajagas?
no, not
uh,
Pedraza, not Pedraza.
there was a fight not too long ago, Joe Joyce and Zhang. And
Who was
every
the
time
fight? Who was the fight that Devin fought
oh,
and he got caught at the bell
Hold on.
and he walked back to and he
Linares.
walked back
Yes. Yes.
Lenore.
Yes.
Leonard,
And then also Lomachenko too. So we've seen Devin Haney get touched up and he's felt every bit of it.
Come on, man.
I
Stop it.
also you had brought up the fact earlier about him being concussed. I was listening to an interview with his trainer, and he was saying he was pouring water on the back of his head, which I noticed because he thought he was concussed, so he was trying to snap him back
You got
into
to
it.
revive him. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think that's definitely what happened because he didn't listen at all. He was just dead set on trying to knock him
Trade,
out.
trade. He was trying to
Man,
trade.
no, Bill Haney ain't let that boy play in Oakland like he should have. He was a private school kid that was a sucker. He ain't never fight. You know what I'm saying? He didn't grow up in the hood. You see what I'm saying? Like
I,
all that stuff.
Muhammad Ali didn't grow up in the hood either.
hey, he was in Louisville. I think
Hey,
all this
hey,
is
hey, and rest in peace,
Middle
Muhammad
class.
Ali. But you see what happened to him when you get tapped too many times.
I'll
It
say
just
this:
is what it is.
if
Period.
Floyd like
I'm
Haney,
going.
I
I'm
think it's
leaving with all my faculties.
I don't think it's because Floyd don't like him. I think that's why you don't like Haney. I get it though. Right?
No, we just seen time after time that Haney don't have a chin,
I wouldn't say he doesn't have a chin. I think it's too early to
bro.
tell.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
give him. Yeah, I mean, when he gets tagged, but so does Tommy Hearns got a chin?
Right.
Because he fought some tough, strong fighters. Okay, but
Big
he didn't
strong
get
fighter.
hurt by everybody. He didn't get hurt every time, but
Hmm.
he got hurt enough times. But
Every time somebody laid a clean punch on Devin, them legs was rubbery.
I have to agree.
It's
Every time.
that's
you know
true.
Every time.
there's a term for that in football: the bend don't break defense. I feel like you know what I mean.
He broke this time. He broke. He
Them three
broke.
pounds, we ain't gonna negate that those 3 pounds running out. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think
He
it's gonna
broke.
hurt him
It
in
was
the
a
well.
it was a robbery with Lomachenko because Lomachenko won that fight.
Yeah.
Lomachenko outboxed him. In
I
my
don't think.
Lomachenko won that fight.
I think it was really close. I personally thought Haney won that one, but
okay.
I know why people could say that. But he gave away some early rounds,
Yeah.
and then those body shots. He threw some nice body shot attacks. So he came back in the 11th round. I know Lomachenko, but I had watched that, and those were some close. It was a close fight. Those rounds
I'd have to
it was
rewatch it.
swing rounds. It was a lot of swing rounds. There was no domination. Nobody dominated each other. It was swing rounds,
Correct.
and
Yes, sir.
Lomachenko let off the gas near the end too because I think he thought he had it.
That 12th round, he sure did. He sure did. If he wouldn't have, we would have seen Devin Haney take his first O
Or a
about a
draw.
year ago.
Or a draw.
right, or a draw, right.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, honestly, if and this is crazy to say, but if he would have got if Devin Haney, you say one of those rounds wasn't a knockdown, right? I think he wins that fight.
Who
What fight?
Devin Haney
against who?
What
Versus
fight?
against Ryan Garcia
Oh hell.
Man,
On the
if they would have did that, that'd have been a highway robbery.
That,
on the cards. It's almost like what was it? There was a fight I'm thinking. Oh yeah, I brought up but he ended up not or winning it. But Joe Joyce and Zhang when they fought, every time it was just knockdowns. That was the only thing that Zhang had. But Joe Joyce would outbox him. He'd get right back up. Then he'd get knocked down by a shot.
that's true.
He'd get right.
The referee was pulling for Haney. Man, you see how many warnings did Devin Haney get in that fight? Stop holding.
Too many.
Hey, you know how hard. You know how hard that fight had to be to ref though, with Ryan turning his back. Everybody
that
was
was a wild night. Yeah,
That's true.
Because I have to agree with that.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't
does.
matter. And then you rob him on two other knockdowns. Talking about
No,
he slipped.
okay. He got hit. You can't call it a knockdown if 3 seconds later, after holding him and he goes down, you can't call that a knockdown.
I wasn't calling knockdowns. I wasn't calling those knockdowns. I think that every single ref that wasn't in that, there's nobody you could be like, oh, it's such and such a reference. I think everybody that didn't ref was happy they didn't have to ref that fight. Let's put it like that.
It was wild. It was wild. And then that little shoulder roll thing that he was doing, it was effective. It was very effective, because he turned his back all the way, so he wouldn't.
You know why it was trash? It was trash, but I think he didn't respect Devin's power.
I don't think anybody does.
Those body shots.
Would he turn his back like that if he didn't though? He was turning his back.
He was turning his back on it. He did not want to take those body shots.
Man, he damn sure didn't do that against Tank.
No,
he didn't get his
no. So I'm with you, but so he was doing it early in his career, right? Then he stopped for a while. He didn't start back doing that until his last fight. I don't even think when Derrick James got in the picture, he started doing it again. So whoever he was with, Joe,
for Ryan Garcia, he's a handler.
Yeah. I think Joe killed somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like, even if you want to say he didn't respect his power, if you're turning your back after every punch thrown, like he wasn't fainting, sure, but like whenever he got whenever it had to be an exchange, that fake shoulder roll, whatever, would take place, and he'd have his back turned.
I'm telling you,
that's more because he was tired.
Those body
tired too.
He was tired. Yeah, he was tired.
He was tired. He wasn't in no shape.
He took full rounds off. That's what I mean by that.
Ryan didn't train like that.
You can't score that for Ryan. That's why when people say, 112. Yeah, well, he gave a lot of rounds away.
That's what I mean by, I think that that's what I was getting at. If one of the, like, say he didn't take that last knockdown, you looking at that fight like maybe a draw.
Ain't no way. For me, ain't no way. Because the times that Devin Haney got touched, it was punishment.
I know, but you got to look at what happened, like, in between that, though. Like,
I get it.
Ryan rounds off.
I get it. For me, it's just hard
to see.
5
rounds that he had that he was in trouble in the fourth, right? So the other 7, what happened? Because 5 rounds was clear. Haney was in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. And then you take the point that he had too. So if you
away. Yeah.
Right. Man, you seen dude post fight? He was looking like Bobby Brown in that LaRue's video.
The difference.
He was walking like.
That's the difference. One fights off of appearance, and not the other way. If that makes sense. Because what's his name that fought and he lost to Fundor.
Hammer Time.
Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu had that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Tim Tszyu lost that fight because of the cut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Directly because of the cut.
And he was outboxing Fundor, in my opinion. but he lost the fight.
I personally
Cause
think Fedor was gonna beat him regardless.
I don't think so.
If Fedor keeps using his height like that, ain't nobody beating him.
He don't though. That's the problem.
But if
he's not going to use his height like that.
If he does though, I don't see anybody beating him. That's why I don't want Arrow to fight him.
He was only able to use his fight like that because he knew that Tim Tszyu couldn't see punches.
It's true.
Fedor is not going to be able to take those punches because Tszyu was catching him in the very first round.
He was
100%
already. If it wasn't for that elbow,
he was
100%.
So Spence would be able to catch him.
I think that rematch would be Tim Tszyu winning that if it comes down to that.
I don't even know if they're gonna have it because Tim Tszyu's supposed to be fighting what's his name on August 3rd. What is this guy's name?
Tszyu was fighting Victor Ortiz.
Yes, Virgil Ortiz. Virgil,
right.
Yeah.
Not Victor, Virgil.
So that's gonna happen August 3rd, and I honestly got Virgil beating him.
That's
a 50-50, I think.
It's definitely 50-50. I just a healthy Virgil is scary.
Shout out to. I think that's on that card I was talking about where the dude's bringing it. It's on the Terrence Crawford. Is it on the Terrence Crawford?
I think it is. I think it is.
That is on Terrence Crawford fight. Yeah.
See, that man is he forcing fights. I appreciate him.
Hey,
yeah.
Lastly, let's touch on this last point. We've had a hell of a show. So last point, I need a preview for Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis, y'all. What y'all got?
Go ahead, Coach T.
I'm gonna say. See, I was gonna before the Ryan fight, I was picking Tank by knockout. But now that Derek James has redeemed himself,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to like say I gotta change my view now because he said in the press conference, somebody asked that question about, when Davis after the Martin fight, when he said that, Derek quickly stopped. He's like, "Whoa, don't get disrespectful now.
Yeah,
don't get disrespectful." So that means he has a big plan, I think, with Frank Martin.
What do you think that plan is, though? Like, what? I don't see a scenario where Frank Martin beats him at all.
Well, the only way is a war of attrition. So to keep banging them arms, banging straight, do the Errol Spence type thing. One thing about Tank, the negative thing about Tank is he fights in spots all the time. He's never been, even with he had trouble with Pitbull now.
Broken hand.
Pitbull, a rare fighter.
Rare.
I think you don't ever see, man. Like you said earlier, he ain't got no neck.
We done seen 100. I feel like
this dude keep coming forward no matter what.
Pitbull
Frank
is
Martin
different.
Is more of an athlete, than Pitbull Cruz. So, and Tank has never really fought. This was probably the best opponent. Next to Cruz, this is probably the best opponent on paper.
Yeah, I'd say
Ryan might be one of the best too. I mean, after this win,
Ryan,
but that weight train really messed him up.
Yeah.
So I think Martin doesn't have that type of weight problem. I'm still gonna pick Tank by knockout though.
Okay. What about
what you got, Glass? What you got, Glass?
I think that it'll probably go as the Mario Barrios. Well, not in the same vein, but late stoppage. I think that he might start out doing, like Coach T was saying, the war of attrition, where he is in his game plan. But as the rounds go on, Tank always finds a way to catch somebody one time, and then at that point the fight plans off. Now you fighting a different type of fight.
Yep.
Survival.
Yeah, so I think that's probably what ends up happening.
I 100% agree. I think that Tank is best when he pulls you into deep waters. He take the first couple of rounds to figure you out. Get your DNA, and then he pick his shots. you know, going into the third, fourth round, and then when the fifth, sixth, seventh start coming on, he start coming on.
Yeah, the
He waits till
reason.
he waits till you get a little bit winded and tired, and that's when he pulls you out into the deep ocean and see if you gonna drown, because he gonna try to drown you. So I go with Marcus Glass as far as late stoppage. I think in the late round, ninth, 10th, I think it's gonna be over by then.
Who are you saying, Coach T?
Well, I was gonna say also that the Martin kind of loses his fundamentals
Yes.
later, and I think that's going to be a big problem. Especially
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
that's the man. That's the game plan for Tank, is to take you deep
You
and then
stole it.
land that
Mm-hmm.
uppercut. So but I'm pretty sure maybe they're going to work on that. But they
Yeah,
really
that's
better.
when everybody thought he lost.
So I gotta piggyback off of Coach T, man. He actually stole that from me. So personally, if you watch Frank Martin's last fight, he got bored.
Yep.
He got bored. So I think Tank might download a lot of information from round 1 to maybe even 5. Get him bored, because Frank already anticipates it being explosive. So at that point, Javante is just like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give him explosive, but it's gonna be on my terms. So I think he's gonna make it a boring fight. Not gonna be a whole lot of exchanging unless it comes down to that point, whether it's fight or flight. But I think Tank will stop him probably round 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
Round 8 or 9.
We're all in,
So we're
what
all
is it?
picking a stoppage.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all.
Yes.
yeah.
I got. Well, before that fight, we skipping over a big fight that's going on, and I don't want to talk Canelo. We're gonna skip that one and let
Usyk and go ahead. You take the floor.
Usyk and Fury. Coach, I'm interested in seeing your take of who you think's gonna win between Usyk and Fury.
Man, sometimes Tyson Fury just says the right thing, because I was thinking Usyk should beat him. But he did make a great point. He says, it's always that old adage is the good little man cannot beat a good big man,
Mm.
and especially at heavyweight, a smaller heavyweight can't get past a big, good heavyweight.
You
Yeah,
And
seen
he
that
was
with Deontay Wilder?
Mike Tyson.
right.
I would
So
say we saw.
what if he comes in like a Mack truck, like he said he did, like when he did to Wilder? You
Yeah,
know
Exactly.
what?
280.
Yeah, 280 and coming at him. What if
yeah.
he fights like that? Now how much movement can Usyk do for 12 rounds against this big Mack truck? If that's what Tyson Fury's trying to do,
And
Yeah.
Coach T, don't forget, Usyk got hit in the body. They didn't count it last fight, but if
Yeah, he
Fury
got
touches
stopped.
that body, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he got stopped. Yeah, because Dubois stopped him.
No,
He just faked that injury, the low blow, but that was a stoppage.
Yes.
He
mm-hmm.
stopped him, and now you want to talk about a referee that helped out? Okay,
that was help. That was help.
Robbery.
yeah, he got helped big time.
Yeah.
That's worse than the Jack Reese count, the slow 10 count.
Yeah.
On Wilder. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
No.
The 8, 9.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, Jack Reese. Like, dang, how
Yeah.
long is that going to happen, man? That's why he got up. So
Yeah.
yeah, that so I would say that I was going for Usyk, but when he made that comment, I was so true. And if he's gonna come in as a Mack truck, then I don't really see Usyk beating him.
That's fair.
I kind of would like Usyk to beat him because I don't really like Tyson Fury because he's gonna roll around and say he's the greatest heavyweight of all time because nobody beat him.
Right.
He's doing the same thing as Mayweather.
Yeah, for sure. It's the same camp, or not the same camp, but it's the same. Like, as long as he has like an O into his name, I think we'll never hear from him. If he loses his fight, we'll never hear from him again.
Man, he's had so much escape. He's such an escape artist. Hey, Klitschko.
Yep.
he avoided Klitschko, and he was on. Oh man. Well, anyway, yeah, Tyson Fury is very lucky.
Hey, I mean, he's another one. If you see how he started and what he looks like, there's some. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Those gloves, something happened, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm with you.
That was some crazy. I never talked to Mark about it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and but Mark was telling me way before that Deontay stopped listening to him. You know, he had told me that back in 2016. He said he's just not listening to him anymore. That's because Deontay was knocking people left and right. So he's like, well, all I have to do is just show up and throw my right hand. They're gonna go down.
Yep.
You know, and that was what was going on. That was happening. You know, so then when it came down to that, all those weird things was happening, and but I don't think Mark had anything to do with that, but
Yeah.
all those things was happening. But the glove thing, that glove gate, is a real thing because he put something over the TV, so you couldn't see him wrap the hands, you couldn't see him put the gloves on. Then there's some weirdness with the flapping, and he pulled back, kept pulling back. He had this extra long reach.
Yeah. Like
Come
bent.
on.
I saw some videos where it was bending crazy that the glove was.
Yeah, I thought, when I first saw that, I thought that was like a alter, like how they filter and make things look weird,
Yeah.
you know. But when that Chicago heavyweight said that he did that in sparring, and he picked up the glove and he showed that the leather was out, and he's like, "Yo, what is this?" You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I said, "Oh, maybe there's something to it."
Could be. Could be. I'm with you though. I think that it could be foul play. I don't think he's gonna go with them tactics against. Well, he could, but against Usyk because he's not the puncher that Deontay Wilder is. I think he's just gonna try to lay on him like he does, most opponents,
Getting
and
tired.
Yeah,
kind of tired.
it's gonna
So
remind me of Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis.
okay, yeah, I can see that.
It wasn't Lennox Lewis didn't beat him by a mile. He had some
Yeah,
difficulties, but Lennox Lewis won though.
yeah. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna talk trash about Lennox. That was my favorite fighter. So
But the rematch, the first fight went a draw, but I thought Lennox won that one. You
mhm.
know, I would say that Don King had some nice. Had, he did
Well,
some work on that one.
yeah. Somebody got a nice care package after that.
Right. But the rematch, it was Lennox Lewis won a more solid fight, but it wasn't by far.
Yeah,
Holyfield still gave him some trouble. So
for sure.
yeah, Usyk is good. Usyk is good. He's a good southpaw. He's very strong, and he's strong-willed too. He's
Yeah.
strong-willed. That's what's going to make the fight so tough for Tyson Fury. That Usyk is a winner.
Hmm.
He never really. Wilder was a winner, but Wilder didn't have the skill set that Usyk has. But Usyk is a winner. What I mean by that is that will to win.
Yeah,
And it's a professional will to win because Haney has the will to win, but he's a kid, right? So he can't keep the skill set or change directions, change strategies mid set. Like Crawford is a professional will to win guy.
for
You
sure.
know, he could change it up in the middle of a fight. That's what makes some great fighters, and Usyk is like that. Usyk has been we've seen that actually with Anthony Joshua.
Twice.
He switched gears
Right.
Twice.
Right.
twice. Yeah,
So
even though he faked the knock, the body shot, and he faked like he was he did what he did,
do
right?
what he had to
But
do.
it's by any means. By any means.
Right. It worked for him.
Hmm.
So what other thoughts do we have on the fight? Any other thoughts?
I think we're all probably I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement of. Um, well, I think that's kind of how it's going to go too. I think It definitely depends on how he comes in. But if he comes in lean, like he tried to do against Ngannou, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the same way. But
He's definitely not gonna fight like he did a guy that he just underestimated, and he
yeah,
didn't take Ngannou seriously at all. You could see his body.
he probably didn't show up for half of the camp. Honestly,
Right,
That's a fact.
right.
That's a fact.
It's
It was-
interesting though that he's if he loses, it's because he's not motivated. That's all it was, because he was super motivated with Deontay Wilder.
All three
Right,
fights.
yeah.
You know,
I think
but this one he's not really talking much. So I don't know how motivated he is, because he needs that. He's one of those type of guys.
Yeah.
He needs to be excited and pumped up to do well. Or else he's gonna have a horrible showing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's his whole like mystique. It's like and that's probably why he talks so much trash. Like he has to create a beef between you and him and get it outside of boxing, so he takes it personal.
Yeah, he's very emotional. Very.
Yeah.
So he fights off of that. He needs that. He needs that energy. So he's been pretty quiet with this one. So that might work against him, because that's not good. He needs to have wildness and crazy, and
Correct.
he needs to be excited. He doesn't sound excited.
Yeah.
But when is that fight anyway?
We'll probably get that once like the real like fight week starts.
When is it?
13th?
May 13th.
Oh, that's in 2 weeks. Then.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So we should be hearing from him soon.
Hey,
I'll have a better answer at the press conference, because then I'll know how his vibe is.
hey,
We'll ask you.
Coach T, we actually should do another show with you at that point. We might even bring Christy on too, and we can all discuss it. We can all do a preview and talk about that a little bit.
That'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any more for tonight, fellas?
May 18th. Sorry, that's May 18th.
May 18th. May 18th.
May 18th. That's 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's deep in training, so he's not gonna. All right, so he's gonna be quiet. Okay, so yeah. In the press conference, we'll see what he's about.
Yeah.
I think we'll get something from him for sure.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, that's a hell of a show, man. We about 2 hours and 20 minutes. We did our thing tonight. I love it. Hey,
That was dope.
Coach T, we can't thank you enough, man, for coming through.
Absolutely.
It was
My pleasure,
man.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, guys.
Hey, we gonna do it again here soon, man. You give us 2 weeks, we can preview this Tyson Fury fight and Alexander Usyk, and we'll be
Definitely. I'll have a much better breakdown with that. I'll
Okay.
leave that.
We'll have a recap of the that Canelo had already fought past that too. Canelo
Munguia.
I think that's going decision.
Yeah.
Hey, Munguia looks pretty big, man. I was
looks big.
At the wild card, and he's big. He's a big kid, man.
Yeah, he might take I don't think he's going to take the full Ryan Garcia approach, but I think he's purposely coming in bigger on this one.
You have to.
Yeah.
You got to pose some type of threat for Canelo, or else he's just gonna walk you down.
Yeah.
But yeah, dog, I can't thank you enough. Enjoyed the insight, especially with the history aspect. Like we were saying, it's with it being a dying, art of actually knowing the history. We appreciate you bringing that to us.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
For
Absolutely.
Oh, praise it, man.
And
Give thanks.
And Coach, man, hey, Saturday, man, go kill, go blow it up, man. Go get that dub, secure that championship.
Hey, gives thanks. I appreciate that. Yep, we're gonna go for it. She's gonna be the next. We're looking for her to be a Baumgartner, because she kind of looks like her a little bit.
Okay.
Bring her on with you next time, man. We love to have her.
All right, we'll do.
With the title.
Yes, sir.
With the title, right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, fellas.
All right, guys. Good talking with you.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace out.
Yes, sir.
We told them how to work but never say shit. My niggas outside cracking the matrix, dodging oppositions and the haters. and milk gon' make the cheese that